man.
You just hit it, bro?
I just got a tweet about hitting it.
Yeah, well, you're about to get a DM from me. I'm sliding
I don't
in. Hit that button.
I don't want any DMs from you. We all heard what that was someone else. Hey, we're live, guys. This is Watch Dogs Legion running on Series X, and hey, it's a launch event for Series X, next gen in general, Series S as well. And guess what, guys? We're doing a show a day early because we know that tomorrow we're going to want to play nothing but games, as we have been doing throughout the day and throughout the week. We're going to do some introductions, give some shout-outs. We got some a few topics we'll kind of throw in here. But today is largely a celebration of you guys. The generation is beginning officially, and we cannot wait for you guys to experience some of this. We'll give you some of our impressions of some of the patches that have hit since a few of us have been playing Series X for a few days now, or a few weeks now, rather. And you know what? Thanks for joining us. If you're here early, hit the like button. We do appreciate it. Hit the retweet button, share it out, and, of course, let us know your thoughts as we go. Colt Eastwood, hey, first day of, it's first night of the next generation. How do you feel?
I feel really good. This is a good spot for me. I'm comfortable. I'm ready for the games to drop. I've got the Xbox Series X. It's actually powered on right now, keeping me toasty warm, and I'm excited for RDX.
It shoots flames out the top, so when it backfires, it's pretty cool, actually. Hey, we've also got D-Batch, brother. How you been?
I'm good, man. I can't believe it. It's almost here. We're going to wake up in the morning, God's willing, and those Series X's are going to be there, man. I'm excited. New generation, man.
It's a new generation? Hey, Randolph Thor, thanks for joining me, man.
Hey, Dealer Gaming. What's going on, buddy? What
the fuck?
Are you okay? Just talk here. You're going to get fired.
I did, when we did the show the other day on my channel, people accused you of being on drugs. So I decided to take some drugs tonight. So I'm going to be really excited because I'm on ecstasy.
Amazing.
Ooh.
Hey, don't say that. Don't say that.
We're demonetized.
Somebody will say you're on ecstasy.
It's not his show. He doesn't care.
Hey, Randall, thanks for joining us, and you're actually on crack. Tell everyone the truth. Hey, Grounded Gamer, a.k.a. Fonzarelli, a.k.a. the motherfucker needs to figure out what he's called. How you been, brother?
How dare you? How dare you? This is a celebration, and you come to me like that?
We got to introduce you.
I'm not speaking the rest of the show.
All right, man. See you later. No, thanks for joining us.
We just did everybody a favor.
Thanks. I know Fonz is excited as hell, especially after hearing about how amazing Valhalla looks. But how can it look so good? It's a crushing game. How do you feel about
60 frames. That's all that matters. That's 60 frames in a big open world. That's what matters to me about next generation, and it's upon us. I cannot wait for tomorrow. It's going to be exciting. Oh my God. I'm excited, guys.
It's tonight. That game unlocks tonight. And if you're lucky enough to get your Series X, well, you got to go to games. Go there early, Fonz. Break the windows, crawl in, go and grab it.
Okay, I'll do that.
But yeah, Tim Dog, thanks for joining us, bro.
Yeah, man, really happy to be here. I think about all the shows we've done and how much, speculation and talk and rumors and everything that, is coming to a point right now. And, tomorrow we're all going to be experiencing what we've been talking about for about 2 years or a year and a half, whenever they've been, announced it. So
give us
really excited.
It's launch time. Come on. Give us
Jesus Christ. I'm so glad it cuts his mic out every time he does
it. Really does.
No, but I'm very happy to be here and just, like I said, we've been talking about this for a year straight. And now it's actually here, so it's going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, why you guys speculate? Well, let us speculate. We're already at it. So, yeah, Tim, so glad that you're here, of course, as usual. And tonight should be pretty awesome for a lot of people that are able to get their Series X's early. Some of you got them early. Shout out to 1,000 people in the chat already, too, by the way, guys. Thanks so much. Hit the like button, share it out, tweet it out, share it on somewhere that hates everything Xbox. And, of course, Zalker, how you been, brother?
Doing good. Hopefully I get my Xbox tomorrow. Who knows? At this point, Amazon's basically flipping me the bird. I just want to get it and freaking play all these games. I want to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla so bad. It looks good on the Series X. I saw a bunch of reviews saying the PC one's all bugged out and fucked up, and then that the Series X one is pretty damn well optimized. So
I think they're both pretty buggy, excited. But yeah, it's well optimized.
Yeah, I know they're pretty buggy. Like, obviously they didn't get like the day one patch or anything like that, but I'm just excited. Honestly, we've been waiting for this for a long fucking time, and I'm just happy. And I'm happy Rand's here because Rand's a good friend, and celebrating with all of us. And people, you need to realize we're all like, we don't just hang out during podcasts. We hang out offline. We talk on the phone. Like, we're legitimate friends, and we're hyped as fuck for this. So yeah,
Man.
that's why the banter's where it's at, man. And I love playing games with these guys and chilling with them. And today's no different.
I heard the
And the
urgency. I heard the urgency in his voice.
I can't, bro.
At some point too during the show, I'm going to actually read off to you guys off of, well, I mean, I could even have Colt do it too. He's got his box on, but all the patches that I already have, and we can kind of go into detail about our experience with some of these patches and give you an idea of what they've done with more since our reviews, if you did happen to catch the reviews. And also, shout out to everyone who's tolerating the 1080p uploads here recently. I'm doing them at 4K, but YouTube's like, no, we have Stadia, and we're not really going to let you show this off. So we're going to make sure it's 1080p 5 meg per second.
Yeah, but they let Colt show it off, though.
Well, that's Colt. They let, they're just like...
yeah, they just like, hey, you want to watch
dog,
Colt
like,
video?
we're recommending the fuck out of this, so we're going to make sure it's 4K.
This Colt video, and you're going to watch it, goddammit.
Yeah.
Why don't you two shut your filthy mouths before... Oh, I mean, sorry.
That's a little... That's the real Colt, chat. You just heard the real
I was
one.
going to give Colt a shout out and say he had an awesome review with Jason Ross, but screw that. Look how... God.
Yeah,
Colt,
he didn't even really have Jason there. That was all lip synced anyway, so you know. No, that was good, and that was pretty funny. Again,
CGI.
It was all CGI. Let me give a real quick shout out to the patrons here, and the shout out tier Game Genie Prime. We've also got Slim73, Pink Orc Bot, Costanza Wayne, Scout Trooper 74, KY Bob, Wakanda X&T, Goose 8402, DT Bag and Straw Hat Khalifa, Bad Boy Live, Assassin Lupa, Foreign Object, Gab Quisteo, John Blue, Beck Boss, D Reader X, Real Deal Neil, Suicide King, of course, Tasteless Genie, Michael Bowen, Guillermo Cabillo. It's good to always see Guillermo when he's in the chat. All Might, Alfonso Hogan, A Squad, who is in the chat, AJ Hutton, Gaz, Dark CMF, and Nick Bodbanuski. Thank you guys so much for what you do as we kind of discuss the launch of the Series X because, yeah, it's really close, and some of you, of course, will be picking your system up tonight. Colt, you just saw a Power Your Dreams trailer, and you recommend everybody watch this new trailer, right? What's going on with that?
Yeah, it's 2.5 minutes of your life, so yeah, I would recommend checking it out. It's cool, it just kind of does like a little graphic presentation, like a... I don't know, it seems like something you'd see like on the Vegas Strip coming out of like a projector, and it just kind of celebrates Xbox and where it's going. Doesn't show any games or anything, but it's just kind of a thing you feel when you watch it. Fonz wasn't feeling it, but I thought it was
actually
pretty cool.
really good. I thought it was good too. They kind of went back in history too, showed like the old Xbox, the original, then the 360, then they had like a Gears thing come up. It looks like it's kind of like paying homage to everything Xbox that's been going on for the last like 20 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought like Colt told me, he's like, watch it, and I got home and watched it, and I was like, that was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I thought that was really well done, and I think it just gets you hyped up if you're a massive Xbox fan and you really want, like, you know, you've just been waiting so long for this stuff, and I liked it. It was really cool.
By the way, there's people curious about the footage. Again, it's Watch Dogs Legion running on Series X. Again, a few of us on the panel here have been playing the Series X for a couple weeks now. And this does have a bunch of ray tracing in it. Like, they patched it in, and I showed it off in my last video, but this is a big section of that. And I've got to admit, man, the ray tracing, I mean, what are your thoughts about some of the ray tracing in the game, Randall? Because you played some of this as well, right? Have you jumped into Watch Dogs at all?
I checked out a little bit of Watch Dogs, and I'll be honest with you, ray tracing isn't necessarily something I would even notice unless I was looking for it. You know what I mean? Like,
all right, Randall's eyeballs are broken. Chat.
No. I mean, the thing is, it's like when I was watching you know, roll over corpses in a car and then crash into the water.
That thing was fast.
Like watching the puddles. I guess is that something I necessarily always notice when you play an open world game and there's rain and you expect to see the reflections. You know, because you've been trained for so long that it doesn't reflect anything, right? So it's there, but you don't really like think, oh yeah, you know, in previous systems it wouldn't reflect the building behind you or your character as it's walking or anybody else. So it's one of those things that like I had to like actually look at and be like, wait a minute, it is reflecting everything. That is really impressive. So
and it's just added on top, right? Like they said that the ray tracing silicon in the box is the equivalent of 13 teraflops worth of software like without like a graphics card without RT hardware built into it. Basically, there's 13 teraflops, like 13 teraflops worth of software ray tracing but it doesn't actually affect the 12 that is powering all the traditional rasterization, right? So, like, this is another layer of immersion added onto it. Like, you didn't once look over and see, like, you know, a car behind you flying by in a window in front of you or anything like that?
No, I did when it's actually there. I'm just saying because of how many games we played over the course of time, you just know it's not going to reflect anything. So it's a big change to actually expect stuff to be reflected. Like, oh yeah, there is a car behind me in this window or in this, you know, puddle, where it's like it just makes it a little bit more of an immersive experience. You know, that the world's properly you know,
Right.
being displayed and reflected, at least for me. Although, to be fair, I would have much rather have a performance mode with
60.
60 frames than a
Me too.
ray tracing, but that's a personal preference.
So like, as somebody that's I decided to play Watch Dogs on my One X before Valhalla because I was choosing that. Is it worth waiting and playing that game on my Series X instead? What do you
The
guys think?
performance is stabilized. Like, I've heard people are seeing frame drops driving around. I know it's 30 on a next generation console, but it definitely doesn't really have problems running like that, even with the ray tracing patch. But the game doesn't look incredibly different. The overall look of the game is exactly the same. Like, the lighting isn't different or more natural. I think they just really worked on real time hardware accelerated reflections in water and reflective objects.
I remember this part.
Wheeler spent quite a bit of time with it.
This part of the damn game, I'm like, if you notice me looking like something's reflected in front of me, right? This is my first time playing it with RT. I'm oftentimes using the top of the camera to cut off the object that's being reflected in the puddle or whatever I'm looking at to make sure that it's not screen space, right? And because that's the thing, Rand's right. Like, they've gotten so good at faking these reflections, right? They're never really dynamic in real time, but they do have really, really high quality SSR, which is what we've seen up to this point. And those will not reflect active objects and use information that isn't on screen. So I'm often using the camera, like I explained in my last video, to cut that object off screen to see if it's still reflecting and dynamic. And it's definitely there. It's definitely real. I think, you know, as time goes on, you'll have games where, you know, you're noticing your gunshot in a puddle under you or next to your right, there's a reflective object and your weapon's firing and you're seeing that muzzle flash and that weapon in that reflected object going off. Like, you're gonna really see like a lot of really cool examples in these moments of gameplay that you may or may not notice depending on how focused you are, right? Like, there's a spot in this footage where I'm fighting these guys outside of a building, right? And I noticed to my right when I'm watching this back that all that combat's actually reflected. Me and these like 3 or 4 guys are fighting, and of course I'm flying through the air doing karate somehow. I'm a random recruit, and all of it's being picked up in the windows to my right as real-time reflections that are actually dynamic. And it's actually really, really obvious once you sit there and look at it. But Rand's right. They've gotten so good at faking this kind of stuff that you don't usually expect it. And now that they're doing things they couldn't fake, which is the dynamic part, it is impressive. Tim, I don't even know how this is possible because I heard that Series V was coming out in a few months. It was going to replace this thing and actually have the reflections. What is the deal here? How do they manage to do this day one?
Well, I think Xbox definitely was a little behind with the ray tracing because of circumstances with RDNA 2, full RDNA 2, but it looks like they got it done. And it's interesting to hear what you guys are saying. I think with ray tracing, though, what people have to take into consideration. I mean, supposedly Spider-Man does it unbelievably well, but you're going to see this get better and better and better, and I think that it's going to be more noticeable in the future, especially when developers learn it and start applying it in certain ways. But yeah, it's good that we there was a lot of speculation and there was a lot of FUD that Xbox couldn't do ray tracing because there was rumors that they were behind and they weren't going to have it. Halo was going to have it post-launch, and then it got delayed. But it's nice to see that they got it, and I'm really looking forward to in 2021 when and beyond, when these games start to be really honed in on the ray tracing and see what Xbox Studios themselves use the technology, how they use it, and it's going to be fun times. It's just interesting hearing you guys talk about it, because I sometimes have the, like they say, the SSR. I sometimes have difficulty figuring it out, which is which. But I guess when I play it and start to understand it, will figure it out. But it was just like I said, it was interesting hearing you guys talk about it.
Yeah. And I did explain that in my last video. Like, basically, SSR uses data that's on your screen to create a fake reflection that obviously will be on your screen. But when you cut that image off, let's say you're looking at a car and you're seeing it reflected in Call of Duty on some wet pavement, like Modern Warfare, right? You can then look down until the camera cuts that car off. You will notice the reflection of that car disappears. And not only does RT fix all of that, but reflects things that are behind you, everything in all of these reflective material. And that does include opponents. So if you are looking in a window like I do in this footage here coming up soon, then you will see an opponent running up behind you, maybe like in the next battlefield. And this is all data that you should have no idea what's going on. And it's just the beginning of it. This thing will do more than RT with this hardware, but it's something that a lot of people will notice. And for day one, like Colt, for day one, I'm impressed with this implementation. I'm hearing people say it does stack up to like medium RT on the PC and stuff. I don't even expect that. I just think it looks great. And what are your thoughts, Colt, as somebody who's played this as well?
Yeah, I kind of have to go back to like what Rand was saying, that we're used to seeing it faked in, and we've seen it faked in for years to really great effect. And like Dealer was trying to explain, something has to be in your field of view on your TV to be reflected in a puddle. So if you look down at the puddle and you can no longer see the building across the road, it'll just dissolve away in the puddle. So this is real ray tracing, and it's not always going to be like a world-changing thing. So my take is I feel like Ubisoft is using this as a test kitchen. They're forcing this game at 30 frames so they can have what we would call full ray tracing on console, but at 30 frames, and they want to build into performance mode because I think they wanted Watch Dogs to be like a test and a tech demo.
Maybe they wanted people to like review it and have ray tracing no matter what, like as like, some people didn't have the ray tracing off or reduced in the reviews or lower fidelity. By the way, Boogeyman says he's camping outside of GameStop right now, and he's just saying hi. Hey, shout out to everybody that's waiting on their systems right now, by the way. If you're watching, we do appreciate it. At least maybe we can help you get your Series X a little faster. And when Series V comes out in 3 months, we can help you get that and kind of help the time fly by as
just
well.
So everybody knows, Xbox Series X is a beta, and the Series V is the actual launch.
All sarcasm, people.
In 18 hours.
Yeah. So, I mean, seriously, though, this is, we're getting up to a point here soon where you will see what I'm talking about with this. What was I going to say? I was going to say, Colt, can you explain what's going on with some of these pre-orders, like from Microsoft Store and what you've been told by Amazon? People are, like Centurion was saying, he doesn't know what's happening with his Walmart pre-order. They're not really, talking a lot about it. There are people in the chat that are saying, can you give me your experience with the pre-order stuff so I can kind of know if this is normal? What's happening with you, Colt?
Yeah, it sucks is what's happening. Right now, if I didn't get a preview console from Xbox, I wouldn't have one on time. And Zocker's in the same boat. Amazon just updated me on an order the other day, yesterday, and said they were sending one that I had set aside for somebody to help them get. So Microsoft, which I was there, I think I secured my Series X with multiple button pushes within the first 15 minutes of them opening pre-orders. And as it stands, and I paid for it at the moment, September 22nd or whatever it was. So I got my console ordered in 15 minutes, and Microsoft is not updating me about the status of that order whatsoever. So it's a really crummy situation. There are tons of people that want an Xbox more than we would ever thought. And I really hope that people can get one.
It's got a lot of hype behind it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I have a pre-order for Amazon. They still haven't notified me. They haven't taken my money. So, and they put out an article, Windows Central did, aka Jazz God. They said that it's basically you're not going to get one till maybe even December 31st if you have one through Amazon, which Absolutely sucks. I called my local GameStops. They said that they're not gonna. They said that they're gonna have Series X's there, but no S's at all. That they sold out of those extremely quick, and they're gone. So they said they're gonna have a few launch day Series X's, and then I also called for I called multiple of them, and every single one of them said they're gonna have their day one, but it's first come first serve. So basically, look on the news, and you're going to see Zulker roundhouse kicking people across the fucking face, trying to get one, and that's what's going to happen. I'm going to look like Neo out
Why
there.
you gotta
like,
say the F word like that? That's
Man.
rude.
Sorry, bro. I didn't mean to. Do you want me to say what Rand said and say I was on? Never mind.
All right, I don't know.
Same situation for me. Unfortunately, I ordered for the whole crew up here, so I ordered I think like 4 Xboxes for everybody. Ironically, the one that's confirmed for me, it's like coming from like the drugstore.
And the reason you can't get one, Chess, because Deep fucking ordered them all.
But Amazon, it still hasn't updated me. It says, we received your order. We'll email you when it's available. The other 2 that I ordered for my buddies here at Walmart, they're not even coming until Friday, so they're not even coming on launch day. And if I didn't secure that one from the pharmacy there, I'd be out of luck. I just want to touch something real quick because I was trying to talk, but I guess my mic was muted on the ray tracing. I think a lot of people are really forgetting that ray tracing is really going to be excellent on the Xbox Series X because they have some hardware acceleration in there that accelerates the hardware on top of what's inside there from AMD.
I said that, D. Where were you?
I didn't hear that part, but yeah, and I think Colt's right too on that Ubisoft is pushing this game out, forcing the ray tracing on it because they know if this game has ray tracing, everybody that has a next generation console, they're gonna get the game to show off ray tracing. So sucks we don't have 60 frames per second, but I'm excited to see the ray tracing on that. I begged for a code today because I have that game like pre-ordered on PC, and I just really don't want to double dip on that game, and I do want to try it on the Series X, but we'll see what happens.
I think there will be more examples of RT on day one as well. By the way, let me chat, just so you know, right? Let me go ahead and switch over HDMIs here because I do everything off of the OLED. I do not use a monitor because I'm a pleb, apparently. And I'm gonna go ahead and read you guys everything that is enhanced for me right now on the Series X, and I'll tell you what I can actually play and what I've been able to play before this point. So right now, Valhalla is enhanced. That will be their day one, right? 4K 60. Looks amazing in the reviews. They've only bragged about how amazing this game looks. Borderlands.
What's the file size on that, dealer?
The file size on this, Randall, is
it like 46 gigs?
47.1.
47.1.
Ubisoft remembered how to compress their games, unlike Activision. Let's go ahead and go to Borderlands 3. This is enhanced. It got its full patch unlocked today. I suspect there will be an update to this because we did have 2 different modes to it. So me and Colt were playing this earlier. It looks really good, by the way. They've added a bunch of different effects like you would see on the PC, which is that's really what I want to see. Both of the modes do run at 60 FPS, and I've noticed a ton of particles and different subsurface scattering and certain I guess fluids and stuff that are flying out of the wall in this area that I just never noticed before. There were a ton of different effects, I think, added. And the resolution mode runs at 60. So does the performance mode, though I did notice a hitch or two in the resolution mode in the most hectic mode, which is, what's that mode called, Colton?
It's called resolution mode.
No,
yeah, resolution
the game
and performance.
mode. The game mode that we played.
Oh, and I'm sorry. We were playing the Cistern of Slaughter, Circle of Slaughter. Yeah, which used to
kill your ex.
Oh yeah, it's basically the most amount of enemies on screen, constant alpha effects and particle effects and everything. When I played on the Xbox One X, like it would run at 45 frames during most of the combat when it's going crazy, and it used to shut my Xbox down. And
that's
I
what I was
power
gonna
it back
say.
on.
Does it run the Series X pretty hot,
for probably 6 or 8 months? They did a patch where it stopped shutting down the console when it was under stress. So I hadn't seen that in a long time, but I didn't see, here's where Dealer and I kind of split on opinions. Like, I would not complain about the performance of the resolution mode on the Xbox Series X. Like, it runs like nearly all paced through, and it may get choppy for a few milliseconds, but it doesn't hinder your gameplay. You feel like you're just getting a fluid experience throughout. Dealers noticed some of the hitching and stuff, but
well, I would say
he
there
says
are
it's
hitches
way
at
reduced.
all. The fact that there's any hitch at all, like it's more the principle. Like there's no reason for that. So I expect them to update this game again. I was just letting you guys know that I would still play in the resolution mode because the frames are actually not so bad that I wouldn't play there at all. I just think that Gearbox, like the Xbox One X patch, probably just need to make another pass and see where that goes, because there's no bottleneck in the hardware there.
Yeah, it's like what we expect from Borderlands. They didn't really, the first year that game was out, they didn't really address the performance issues, and you just kind of had to deal with it. And then they put out this patch for the Series X, and I'm like, well, I mean, it pretty much runs at 60 most of the time. As far as I can tell, it looks a lot better. It looks a lot cleaner when you're not in performance mode.
I mean, I would say that whatever it is, like it's just a few hitches here and there. That's all I'm mentioning. I'm not acting like it's a massive problem. I don't have enough time with it, but we did play in the most demanding areas. That game is 80 gigs, by the way, on Series X. And
God damn, 80 gigs. You only have what, 802 available on the internal, right?
I'm glad.
What's your space left? Because I think I have
my
10
space
games
is 0.
And it's like 60% full already, or
Look,
whatever.
I got Activision games on. I got an Activision game on there and a 2K game on there, which means I have no space at all left.
Oh God.
You got NBA 2K21.
Let me make it through this list, damn it.
Okay,
then we'll come back to it. So
go.
that's 80 gigs. The game looks a lot better. The performance is nearly flawless in the modes that I've seen for what I've seen. And honestly, oh man, just even walking up to the vending machines, seeing the light fly off the gun now from the machines, like they've added a lot of settings there. Bright Memory Infinite, which is like an hour long. That's the thing you guys have seen. That will be available. That is a 4 gigabyte game.
That's just Bright Memory. That's just the demo.
Yeah, whatever. Bright Memory, whatever the fuck. And then we got
it's not infinite.
And then we got Call of Duty Cold War. That is 125 gigs. Activision, what are you doing? Compress your games. Modern Warfare is 201 gigs. Ridiculous.
They were saying though that game allows you to like uninstall the multiplayer of the campaign.
How about they just install the goddamn compress for their fucking
I'm just
game?
saying, are you able to do that right now with the game pre-ordered? Can you uninstall the multiplayer?
I don't see it, no.
Okay.
But, hey, maybe you will be able to when it unlocks. Far Cry 6 is in here, by the way, for some reason. That's not even close to out, but it is in the enhanced tab already. Dirt 5 is in there. We've been playing that for weeks already. This game is, and I'm just telling you all this so you guys know what to expect when you get it. And you can plan your storage accordingly. 72 gigs for Dirt 5. And then we've got Control. Whoever the fuck's snoring, come on. Control, that is not even downloaded yet. It will not download. It's only a few hundred megabytes.
They delayed that Series X patch till next year.
What?
Great. Yeah, they just announced it a couple days ago.
Man. Hopefully it's 60 frames, Remedy. Fortnite.
Expect delays. I told you guys.
We all.
From Remedy?
Didn't they delay the Game Pass announcement that Phil said in January of 2020?
It never came to Game Pass. It came to PlayStation Now.
Oh,
and
man.
then left PlayStation Now.
That was strange, right? Yeah.
What about Crossfire X? Remedy's working on that. We have no idea, no word about that even existing.
Yep. We'll find out more, and I expect to see more stuff hit in the next day or two, too. Fortnite is 23 gigs. Forza Horizon 4 is going to be, that's a 96 gig game. That is in there as well. Gears 5 is in here as well. Gears 5 is 71 gigs.
Oh.
And Gears Tactics is only like 13 gigs. Ori 2, that's not going to be big. Observer, I think, is 10 gigs. No Man's Sky, that is, it did get a patch as well. That is 11.9. And then again, I'm giving you guys an idea because you are limited in space. And some of these games have to be installed in the internal. There's 2 or 3 that don't. Sea of Thieves, Ori, and I think We Happy Few do not need to be on the SSD or the expansion card. They can be on an external drive. NBA 2K21, the next gen version comes in at 101 gigs right now.
Wow.
That is over twice the size, I think. That's about twice the size of the last gen version. Yeah, it looks phenomenal, though. I'll give it that.
It does.
Planet Coaster, that is 10 gigs, which is good. And then Sea of Thieves, you can play that on external, but that is, I think, 60 gigs. Watch Dogs Legion, that is going to be 37.9. And then you've got We Happy Few, which is like 10 or so, and you can play that on an external as well. And let me do another tab here to make
60
sure.
frames on We Happy Few.
Woo!
Yeah, I mean, you should run by those 3 games real quick that got We Happy Few is now patched. It runs at 60 frames in the main game.
Yep.
Stay of Decay 2 runs at 60 frames in the patch game.
Hell yeah.
And what was the other one?
I mean, all of them so far run at 60 frames except for Watch Dogs Legion, right?
That's
what was
pretty
that? There were
impressive.
3 games that just got like
Witcher 3, the other one that dealer did a video about.
Witcher 3.
No, that
didn't
was
get a patch.
always 60.
Yeah,
Oh no, but
yeah.
I think the performance mode, which was 1080p, is now 4K, right?
No, the performance mode ran at around 1300p in the open world. And
Yeah,
it would
resolution's
run
also
60
right.
frames, but in the city, the frames would tank, right? And it would run. The developer said it ran up to 4K in that mode, which that's what I'm going off of. I assume that's cutscenes. So now on the Series X, that game, as I showed in the video, which still YouTube hasn't unlocked the 4K version of it, I think it runs close to 4K, if not 4K, at 60 frames, even in the city. I don't know. It looks amazing. So Colt played about an hour of that. Colt, what did you notice the difference was on Witcher, the Xbox One X performance patch of that?
I don't know. It just looks really sharp. I took a screenshot last night in resolution and performance mode, and then I looked at both of them full screen on the capture app, and I'm like, I can't tell. I mean, I think I don't remember. I was asking this last night. I don't remember what dynamic scaling range Witcher did in the performance mode. I think it ran up to 4K down to 1080p or I don't know. So I guess maybe it's just automatically getting a higher resolution in the performance mode. It's really cool and friggin' about time for this stuff.
One thing that I'd like to point out, a couple of tweets have been out there. You guys obviously, Bex, you too. You probably did it already. But the LG and a bunch of TVs from Samsung, they are pushing out firmware updates tonight so you can support the features that Xbox has. So make sure you do your updates.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got one yesterday. I wonder if that's
it.
One of the things it's trying to address is what somebody said in the super chat. He was asking specifically about the VRR and flickering issue. VRR doesn't flicker. What VRR does, it does raise the black levels in the C9s and C10s, but the only way to really alleviate that right now is just to back off the brightness to 49 or even 48 for some. But the flickering does happen in 4K 120 hertz. That should be fixed with a firmware update. So,
yeah, I think it's an Xbox specific thing because I have a RTX 3080 and there was an initial problem and they updated it and it worked with the card 4K 120 hertz. I had no issues with my CX, but Colt did tell me that he was having some issues on his TV. So hopefully this update that Tim is talking about fixes that issue. But you're right. There is an issue with the gamma. It's raising the gamma on it. So yeah, you got to back off the brightness, and it's something that they can't really tweak. It's just something that's inherent to that technology and with variable refresh rate enabled on it. So it is what it is. Just back off your brightness a little bit and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ghostly, by the way, he says, don't forget to leave some cookies, milk, and Japanese studios out for Phil Spencer tonight. Shout out to him. Also, Game Bread, he says, hype for next gen fire. So close. Yes, it is, sir. Thank you so much. We've also got some other super chats. Nano Polymath, he leaves a super sticker. Hype. Shout out to you, brother, and everyone else leaving super chats. Danger Close does say, first thing I'm playing is Assassin's Creed Valhalla Xbox. Yes, sir. It's gonna be. I can't wait to jump into that. We've also got fucking Tony Stark. I'm not calling you that. I'm sorry. He says, today is the day. Waited for so long for this moment. Thanks to RDX crew. And you know what? Our honesty. Yes, thank you so much, Tony. I have to keep going, but do appreciate it, brother. You're definitely one of the OGs. Big Chuck 77 says, get in my truck. I'm just kidding. He says, appreciate all of the work you guys have done. Ready for tomorrow. Keep it up. And of course, new channel member again, I think, Xbox News Today. Wakanda, thank you so much, sir. Maybe I'm tripping there. I don't know. And I'll get some more super chats here in a bit. But for those leaving them, just know that I will try my best. Do appreciate it quite a bit.
Super chats, yeah.
Say what? Say what, D-Batch?
And look at you getting through the super chats.
I'm trying. But seriously, I mean, Rand, what were your kind of most anticipated games? as somebody who's played on the console a little bit here, and what are you looking forward to? What have you tried out that kind of caught your eye so far?
Well, the most anticipated of the game I wanted to play day one was Halo Infinite, but obviously that's not going to happen, right? Because
saw Craig pop out of the bushes. He said, maybe later.
Yeah, we'll try to come out in 2021, but I really wanted to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla. 60 frames is something that we asked for. I remember when people were like, "Oh, it can't." Remember when people were like,
you guys were wrong.
Can't do 30. The system's a piece of shit. Can't do 30 frames.
You can barely do it on PC with a GTX 16275 So
it's I love Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I'm really looking forward to playing Valhalla. Now, another game I tried out, and I'm still stunned by how good it looks. I'm still disappointed that you and Colt haven't finished it, and that's Ori, as Tim would say.
Rat Game 2? Yeah.
But dude, that game with how it looks at 4K 120 hertz, or if you want to play it at 6K downsampled to 4K.
What? 6K?
How does that look?
It does, dude. I didn't think a game could look any better, but it's like a living painting is the best way to describe it. Like, especially they fixed the HDR in that game.
Yeah.
And the patch. So like,
what was wrong with it?
When it launched, that game came in incredibly hot. So not only was the HDR not very good, the frame rate wasn't very good.
There's actually a story.
I know the frame rate was. I stopped playing it because of the frame rate issues.
Yeah, so now it runs at 120 and 4K, and it's just one of the best looking games on the system. Forza Horizon 4, even though it's a game that came out 2 years ago, like it was just insane. Like playing that game at full, 4K. I'm assuming I'm not Digital Foundry, so I don't freaking know, but like 60 frames, at like 4K, and just how smooth it was and how great.
You know what else is smooth though, Red? Windows Central Gaming in the chat. Shout out to Windows Central Gaming. I did something on their YouTube channel with Miles. We had some good fun over there. Hey, Spawns. And shout out to the mods too in the chat, managing everybody in the chat. Lethal Papa Boss Mod, do appreciate it, brother. Everybody else helping out, including Windows Central. All you guys locking it down. Fonz, did you see the Series S ray tracing on Watch Dogs? I mean, I thought this is the most pointless console in history.
Yeah, no. I definitely saw it. It looks cool, but like Rand, I would much rather have.
I know, but think about how impressive that is.
I know it looks really good, but to me, ray tracing is just something
that's not the point. Fonz, $300.
Okay, but I want substance. I want that more frame rate.
Fonz isn't getting what I'm trying to do here, Chad. I'm sorry.
Fonz.
But no.
Fonz.
What?
The cheapest ray tracing GPU is $339.
$300, bro.
That's fantastic.
He's like, I don't give a shit.
But yeah, I really don't. At the end of the day, what I do give a crap about is the fact that, I was watching a bunch of reviews for Valhalla, which all were pretty freaking positive. And one guy who was more PC centric was even saying that he was having trouble running the game at 60 frames at 4K, on his graphics card, but it ran great. He was I
assumed that the Series X version isn't native 4K.
He was saying that it's running fantastic and looking beautiful on the Series X, and he's not sure if it's full 4K, but he's like, man, it looks damn near close. If it's not, he's like, that game looks beautiful.
Yeah, and that margin's like, who cares?
And it runs good. So I'm being sold by so many different reviews. I'm already sold already since I played Odyssey, but man, it's good to see another game come out that I like to play. These types of games anyway, these big open world games, and it just get good reviews, and it being at 60 frames on console. Finally, that excites me the most about next generation.
And just think, next week you'll be able to play Cyberpunk 2077.
I know, wouldn't that, man? It sucks that we don't get that, but it is what it is, man. This game is going to take me a while to beat anyway, and
we want to finish game
days
right
from now.
Yeah,
it's not a big deal.
Zucker, what did you think when you saw the Series S running ray tracing at what looked like a pretty damn good fidelity for a $300 entry model Xbox? It's the new generation Xbox One S, and it's doing things the current X could never.
It's gonna sell like fucking crazy is what that means. And honestly, like, I'm debating on getting one because I have some people that are like, I don't want like a fucking $500 system. And I'm like, oh, well, it's big performance. They're like, I don't really care. Does it play the new games? And I've had people like that to ask me that. And I tell them about the Series S and they're like, oh, $300 is not bad. And I was like, yeah, well, if you want it only. right? You want the games. If there's games for you to buy, get the system. That's the way I always say. And for $300 to have ray tracing and freaking the big thing to me is the frames. The SSD and the frames, like the CPU, they didn't cheap out on that Series S CPU.
Wow.
Like it is the same thing that's in the Series X. And honestly, my girl might get a Series S because she was like, oh, I'll get an Xbox and I'll just get that cheap one. And I'm like, do it so I can be at your house and play games.
Zucker, would you be disappointed if you got an S and you loaded up Valhalla? Because I thought the reviews were saying Valhalla runs at 30 frames on the Series S.
It might.
It runs at 60 on the Series X. That'd be disappointing?
To be honest with you, I don't know, because I don't know if it's going to be that way, but if it is, then I'm not going to be disappointed.
Zucker loves that filmic experience, I guess.
I do.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. This is what I've been telling people. If you're whining about or you're concerned about the performance or the graphics performance on the Series S, that console is not even for you. You're not their customer.
Exactly.
Yeah,
if you're talking about, well, the Series X Series S only does this resolution, or the Series S only does this frame rate, why are you talking? That console is not you're not a customer to that. You're probably buying a PS5, or you're probably buying a Series X, or you're probably buying a PC.
Thanks.
So if you hear people whining about
I would just get the Series S.
No, it's
if you're whining about the Series S,
let Cortez finish his little rant, and then we go to
little rant. If you're whining, or you hear someone whining about the Series S, that's not their console. That's not what they want. They want something bigger.
Yeah.
Because if you're expecting more performance like that, I mean, it's the same price as a
but
Nintendo
how's X
Switch.
doing how's X doing 60 frames? It's held back by the S.
Well, that's the thing with me.
There you go.
See, the thing with me is that, like, you asking me, Rand, that question, it's like, yeah, I would be disappointed because I want performance, so I'm always going to play on the Series X. Like, I don't realize how spoiled, like OLED, right? We all everyone in here pretty much has an OLED, and I went to like a friend's house and played on a 1080p Westinghouse screen and wanted to fucking kick it in the face. I was like, this is terrible. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, this looks like trash. And he's like, well, how? I was like, bro, you need to come to my house and see some OLED shit. And that's like we're so spoiled because we love the performance. That's the kind of customer we are. We will pay the extra money to get the best performance. So with the Series S, like if I know I'm going to play on that, or somebody just wants to play on it and they don't care about that, no, I'm not going to complain because you get what you pay for. And that's what it is. It's a $300 console, but you get ray tracing. That's insane.
I think their focus is on performance still with the Series S. That's why they didn't skimp out on the CPU. And it's just a great little console. It's perfect for somebody like my son who has a 1080p TV. Many others are like that out there. They don't have 4K TVs and they want to enjoy good performance, good looking games still. These games are still going to look great on a Series S. It's just not going to be that, standard that we're used to.
They didn't do it just for like, oh, we just want performance. They did it for the developers. Like, it is much easier to scale down graphically than it is to do CPU performance-wise.
Yep.
So that's why they did
it.
But they see the market.
Hey, D-Bats, I need somebody that understands how impressive a $300 console with ray tracing on Watch Dogs Legion
really is.
Go ahead. I heard him.
You got told by D-Batch.
I heard him disappear into the Phantom Zone. Like,
it is amazing. Like when you look on the
get up on your mic, brother. You sound like you're in a microwave.
I don't know. My mic's just been fucked up all day.
He's like actually mad.
He's been fucked up all day. I still ain't done shit about it.
No, on RTX card, I think the 2060 is pretty much the lowest card that you can get that has ray tracing performance, and that's over $300. And the S is, I would say maybe around that in ray tracing performance. Any way you look at it, $300 for ray tracing on a console is an amazing feat. You're gonna get 1440p, you're gonna get 60 frames per second, some games 1080p, whatever. It's $300
with an SSD with 16 threads. I mean, with all those features, right?
Yeah, with the ability to transfer your games in and out of the internal SSD to an external hard drive at that, right? So it's a good value, man. Honestly,
why do you say that? Is there another console that doesn't let you do that, or?
Well, yeah, the reports coming on the PlayStation 5. I know we're going to talk about it later, but
we'll talk about it now. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, the PlayStation 5. I can't believe how many things are missing on this console. Like you can't use the external SSD at launch.
So there's no external SSD support at launch.
No, you can't. You can't. Apparently, if you have PlayStation 4 games on an external drive and you play them on the PlayStation 5, you don't get the enhancements. You don't get the extra bump in performance, which is really weird.
So for the boosted games, you can't play them externally.
No, games that are in the internal SSD, you can't transfer them out onto an external one. You have to delete them and then re-download them. If you
and
need
they
the
said
game.
that was because Kraken assigns like something to those games, and it's a one-time thing, so you can't transfer your enhanced games to an external, and to put them back on later if you want to play them, you have to re-download them every time, right?
Right, variable refresh rate's not working. Like how do you not have a variable refresh rate on that fucking console? You can't do 4K recording. Like what's going on? Like
I thought they said you could record in 4K.
Wait.
You can't stream in 4K.
Stream in 4K. Like there's so many things just missing off of that console. Like I'm not putting the console down because I'm gonna get one on Thursday and I'm gonna play the hell out of Spider-Man.
Same.
But just being honest, it's missing a lot of stuff at launch that should be on there, and people should question them. Like what's going on with these things? Like why are they not there? Like I think the major flaw, to be honest with you, that irks me is that you can't take the games that you have stored inside the console and transfer them out to an external hard drive and swap them back and forth, because the PlayStation 5 I think has like 654 gigs after.
Yeah, that's confirmed, right? They did confirm that's like 600 plus gigs of storage from that thing.
You're gonna have to remove some of those games, and if you had an external drive, it would make it a lot easier. Like it would take 5 minutes to swap it back and forth, but it'd make it a lot easier than having to re-download that game. And it's just a huge oversight. I can't understand why Sony allowed their system to launch like that.
Well, doesn't it not even support like 1440p? Like or something like that? Doesn't the PS5 doesn't support 1440p? Like that is fucking weird.
And they mean by that, Chad, he means a native output for like display resolutions on monitors. So if you want to use this thing for your PC, for like on a PC monitor, then you can't select a native 1440p output, and it will actually come in at like 1080p, right?
D, I just bought one too.
Let me ask you though. So you can, I've heard you can switch games back and forth, say from an external hard drive onto the internal on the Xbox, but can you play backwards compat games off an external and have those those boosted modes or whatever?
Oh, you're talking about PS5 or Xbox?
Xbox.
The Xbox, you get every single backwards compatible enhancement on those games, no matter what drives they're on.
I wonder why it's so
and
different.
not only that, but you get more enhancements than what's on PS5, including the auto HDR.
I don't get why the boosted mode doesn't work on PlayStation 5 off of because this is a big point of contention with a lot of gamers out there that were wanting to put all their PS4 games on like a 2 terabyte or a bigger hard drive and external, and be able to at least play those older titles on the PS5 and enjoy those boosted modes and those 60 frames and all that.
And those are like 100 of the most popular that were getting boosted, quote unquote, which basically will like they basically hit some like 60 FPS with certain games. It's like they've gone in and actually kind of optimized those older games for the newer hardware instead of just letting it naturally do its thing. To what I know, they haven't added like more effects or anything. They just kind of, the performance mode seems like it's there, right? Like it seems like it'll actually run at 60, right? I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat knows.
I gotta point out, Lamarcus Doss in the chat, he said, but can you play new games on the Xbox? Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I can play Assassin's Creed Valhalla tomorrow.
You can play every single new game, and you get every single back compat game, and they all work no matter what drive they're on. So yeah, you can actually play more games on it.
And we're going to play a couple of new games on PS5 when we get that on Thursday. Look, I don't understand the chat sometimes. Like
it's not like we're sitting around here trying to crap on the PlayStation 5. Everybody here is going to get a PlayStation 5 and wants to enjoy the PlayStation 5 all the same. What we're saying is that there's things about this console that just don't make sense for the average consumer.
And they weren't.
A lot of consumers out there are going to be wondering why I can't play these games, especially the PlayStation 4 games, off of an external hard drive and enjoy those boosted modes.
And none of that was communicated anywhere near or before the pre-orders went up. This stuff all came out like a week before launch. Like, what's going on with the storage solution?
This isn't like something we're gonna harp on. This is the launch for a lot of people, and I don't give a shit. We knew Sony would do this type of shit anyway because they did it when they convinced their fan base none of these games were cross-gen, and they all ran around for 8 months acting like they knew what the fuck they were talking about when they didn't. And now they're doing it again with this kind of stuff. And to me, it's not surprising. And I mean, the last thing I want to do is sit here and preach at a guy in the chat about it.
Yeah,
so
it really sucks, but it is what it is with the PlayStation 5. Again, I don't get it. I saw a lot of people upset about it on Twitter, PlayStation guys. So
good, they're finally speaking out. That's great.
Yeah.
But seriously, I got to reiterate: $300 Series S with ray tracing in Watch Dogs Legion. From the fidelity that I saw, but this was on Twitter. Keep that in mind. I don't know what resolution the game's running at on Series S. I'm sure somebody does. But the fact that RT is still there on a 20 CU little console is absolutely fucking amazing. And you are likely looking at a scenario where, who knows? I mean, PlayStation 5, Rand, is that even confirmed at ray tracing at this point on Legion?
I don't know.
What are they saying in their marketing?
I think they do.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do they say in the marketing for Watch Dogs?
They're
for
saying
PS5?
that they say something about ray tracing and the most amazing 3D sound. I think there's going to be some sort of ray tracing there. I think that right now Legions on Series X and S are using a hybrid solution of screen space reflection and real-time ray tracing to keep performance at a manageable level. Maybe we're going to see more screen space implementation and a little bit of ray tracing on PS5. I don't know yet, and it's not PlayStation's game. The marketing is with Xbox, so we're hearing about all of the bells and whistles on Xbox, the same as you would if PlayStation had the marketing rights for a multi-plat. So it's kind of
their marketing material says explicitly, and we've seen pictures of this, that you will get basically ray traced audio, and they go a lot harder on the Xbox side. They say experience the most realistic immersion with real-time dynamic reflections and all this other crap that maybe they're talking about both on PlayStation, but they took a lot of the bigger words out on the PlayStation side, and maybe they're not, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I think when it comes down to it, I think the Xbox Series S, like we said earlier, the hardware acceleration that they have in there for ray tracing, I think it's going to come into play. And I think once, Digital Foundry and us, and, we put them side by side, I think it's going to come down to the resolution of the reflections. I think they're going to be of a higher, better quality on the Xbox Series X, not just because it has more CUs, but like I said, the hardware accelerate, the extra bits that they added in there, Microsoft for the ray tracing. I think you're going to see a difference in the resolution of these ray tracing, and I think multiplats generally are going to look better on the Series X, but with ray tracing, I think that's where we're really going to see a difference.
You're going to see some of it in this window in this fight scene outside here, D. You see me fighting these guys and everything's reflecting in real time in a window on the right. I don't know what point the stream's at. I know they're not synced up with what I'm seeing, but yeah, there's definitely some ray tracing going on here, which I didn't even notice till I looked at it back. I know Shady said he noticed it instantly.
Also, too, people need to realize with ray tracing, the lighting, like I heard Cole say that the lighting's not going to really be that much different. It actually is going to be different because the ray tracing, it actually changes the light because now you're getting
not in this game, no, D.
Light.
I've been playing the Xbox One version, and the lighting and the overall look of the game isn't much different. But I've seen it very different in other games, like you're talking about, where it does look different.
I'm not so lucky. I didn't get to play it yet. So
it ain't luck, D. It's 6 years of grinding. Hey, Dark CMF, by the way, says that they took out the big words in the PS ads because audience. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I hope that both of them have it. I think that everyone should see it. But again, here's what's gonna happen. You're going to get games that hit day one, and somebody clip this so, we can crush these idiots when this inevitably happens. But you're going to get games day one that developers, they get it up and running, and they call it a day for launch. We saw this with the Xbox One X, and we saw this with the PS4 Pro, and then we saw a bunch of parity at the beginning, and as it went on, the gap became wider and wider. We saw this with Metro, putting out over double the pixel density, over double the load on the GPU. We saw the same thing with Red Dead. We saw the same thing with Battlefront, even adding more and more effects on the Xbox side on top of that pixel disparity. You're going to see this in the future with Series X and PS5. While both will look great, the delta is definitely there, and it'll be interesting to see how this goes and how it turns out over time and how they leverage the custom silicon in each box. I think both of them this is the most custom generation in terms of like different types of performance, right? The boxes, neither of them are maxed out unless the RT hardware inside is maxed out as well. And it's very interesting in that way.
Let me jump in. I'm sorry. I know we're talking about the ray tracing and all that, and I think that's really cool. The one thing I saw, Rand, you put it up on Twitter, was from launching the console to like starting Doom Eternal. I think it was, right?
I saw
Like that was
He's like, I
literally
saw someone
like
else do this and it did
4-second
well. Let me try.
Hey, don't make fun of
What?
Randall. I saw Randall's hand, and I was like, ooh,
Hey, that's my hand, boy.
it is, boy.
Wow.
I like it.
All right.
You didn't have any fingerprints on there. I don't know why, but you know.
No, I mean,
He washes his hands.
So, and Maka did a video about it where he showed off Doom Eternal. I mentioned it in my review, and I talked about it on the podcast that day. So we did a podcast, and people were in chat were saying they wanted to see it. So when I got on my Xbox that night, I just recorded that short 30-second clip of just how quick it is to go from your system off to the last game you played that's suspended, and it's like 6 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, it's
So-
insane.
Did you see that Sekiro? I mean, people are seeing like compare FPS meters now for that game that it's running better than when Digital Foundry showed it.
Really?
No,
Really, I did not see that. No.
Yeah, like apparently, I don't know if it's because it's just different ways they came into the area or what, but basically, keep in mind that Xbox's back compat solution is software based, and just like with the 360 back compat games on X1, some of those came out and actually ran a little bit worse, and through time they've optimized and made this emulator better. And it's possible that you could get even more and more performance through optimizing. This is the very beginning. This thing ain't even out yet. It's only going to get better. Every single thing about it should get better. So
I saw somebody loading in 2K21 and that shit loaded in like 2 seconds. I was shocked.
I can't wait to fucking get my
the
hands on
friendly
this thing.
neighborhood blue shell, by the way. Shout out to you, brother. He says, just supporting the podcast. Hopefully get Series X tomorrow. He says, or I will be sad. I hope you get one, buddy. He says, a sad Spike little turtle. You're really role playing hard here. He says, I'm quite surprised by the level of Series S graphical fidelity, not resolution. Yes, I mean, it's exactly what I said it was going to be, a monster little 1080p console. And that's, again, up to the developer how they use it. But that's why I've always targeted 1080p with it. I think that's what it's going to do best at. And I think there are a ton of people out there that can leverage that kind of $300 little console. And that's with load times and everything else. So from what we've seen, like Coalition and others have confirmed, like you're looking at very, very similar graphics fidelity to the X, right? If not the same settings, but at just a resolution difference, right? So like Fortnite, Gears, all this stuff, Borderlands, these guys are all targeting 60 frames per second, and they're all doing it with similar settings to the higher end X. And I expect there might be some changes there, but I mean, at the end of the day, for $300, I mean, you're forgetting about the SSD and the capability with the graphics across the board. Like Colt, when we were in Borderlands 3, like that game really did look pretty much just like the PC version. Like it looked amazing.
Yeah, it's really sharp and
particles flying
great.
everywhere. I mean, the different effects that just were never in the game before. It was just really, really cool to see, because developers overwhelmingly, from my experience playing the game, for playing the system for weeks and weeks now, it seems like they're really doing what we hoped they would do, which is add the PC settings that the CPU, the RAM, and more bottlenecks before into the game, and you're really getting a high premium experience on Series X, and that's before day one, which doesn't even begin to leverage the maximum potential of the box.
And keep in mind, the developers are also not just doing what we want. I think they're doing what they wanted to do, but they couldn't on a console with a CPU constraint. So yeah, it just looks really great. And I'm glad, because we were all banging on the drum for 60 frames. And I think the developers were screaming behind a wall that we couldn't hear, saying, yeah, these consoles can't really do it on every game. So yeah,
and keep in mind, when you upscale to 4K, like Gamer for Life, when you upscale to 4K, that does not change the PPI, the pixels per square inch, right? So the pixel density doesn't increase. You're just stretching the image to fit a 4K screen, which, with a good upscaler can help, right? TVs have different scalers. The box has a great scaler in it, but it's not the same as increasing the pixel density. So you definitely, pixel count matters. Even if you upscale, there's a difference. But for $300, guys, this is exactly what we thought it would be, and it's getting some pretty good treatment there. Let me go ahead and move forward. Fonz, when it comes down to it, you've seen a lot on the box. You've heard about kind of what we've had access to. I just read off a lot of the games earlier in the show. If you want to know what'll be there when you pick it up tonight or tomorrow, just go back in the beginning of the show. But Fonz, when it comes down to Series X, you are just wanting to jump right into the Valhalla, right? All right. Again, Fonz is gone.
Well, I'll go talk.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to Valhalla. Honestly, that's the game I'm looking forward to the most right now. I've been waiting for Assassin's Creed after Odyssey blew everyone's mind in here. We all loved it. I've been waiting for the next Assassin's Creed, which has been 2 years, and I remember Ubisoft during the like a lot of the press conferences and all that, even last year, they've always said that the new consoles was a massive part of their strategy when they're developing these games. That they wanted to be one of the first developers to jump in there and really optimize the power of the hardware. And Valhalla, I think, is going to be one of the few that does it in the beginning. Like, obviously, it takes time for developers to put this stuff together, and in 2 years, games are going to look way better than they do now. That's just what happens as the generation goes on. But Assassin's Creed Valhalla is something I'm really looking forward to, especially on the Series X. Like, I'm not playing this game on my One X. Like, I'm just not. I don't want to. I want to play it on the Series X. It's going to be the game that I'm probably going to sink, tens and however many hours into it because of the Series X, and I want to play it all on there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are taking work off this weekend or tomorrow. Like legit. Like I know people.
Tomorrow.
I know people that are like my work. I know 3 dudes that are literally taking like Thursday and Friday off for the new Call of Duty, like to play on the Series X.
Hey, Fonz is back. Wow,
that's like insane. Yeah, Fonz, welcome back, bitch.
Yeah, I had.
Hey, shout out to BXB1 too, new channel member as well. Fonz, I was asking you, fuckface, what you were looking forward to the most. You said Valhalla, right?
Valhalla, of course. Well, Cyberpunk, really, but that's
I'm saying tomorrow.
Now, 22 weeks.
No, whenever you get the box, right?
But when I get the box, of course, it's Valhalla. But I'm going to download games like Gears 5, Ori 2, of course. I'm going to test those games out again. Well, I got to play through Ori again, or at least beat it, because I stopped playing it on the One X because of the frame rate issues. But I've heard that's all gone now, and it's beautiful according to Rand. So I can't wait to play that.
You can play it at 120 frames at 4K, boy.
Yeah, I'll try that, but I think the 6K down res with 60 frames is going to be good enough, because I heard that looks just stunning, and I want to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
But Valhalla for sure is my go-to day one. I think it's just the 60 frames, man. In a big open world game, this is brand new to consoles, to have a big open world game at 60 frames, at a steady 60 frames. And we've had 60 frames games, performance modes, but they're really like 40 frames and below.
Mm-hmm.
They just run all over the place, on the One X or the PS4 Pro. And it's just great to get.
They run amazingly on Series X files.
It's so great to get rid of those cores.
There's one game that I know a lot of people don't talk about, and I haven't seen like if it's optimized, and that's that Gods and Monsters or the Phoenix Rising one. Like I'm really looking forward to that game because it's the Odyssey team. I want to see what Ubisoft has.
Who's like building a model airplane on a desk that their mic's on? Thumping is coming through. Every single one of those thumps is coming through.
I have no idea.
Go ahead.
Anyway,
I think I'm only on the show to hear dealers' descriptions of a sound that he heard.
I think somebody's mic
just
is
like literally I just
thump,
heard
thump,
it.
thump.
But anyways,
it's Tim.
The Phoenix Rising game, like it looks like a lot, like very colorful. The environments look insane, and I just want to see that game on Series X. Also, I want to see if they optimized it for that. It's another big open world game coming out from Ubisoft in December, around the time Cyberpunk comes out, which obviously we're all gonna play. But that's another game that I kind of look at like color wise, and the way that team did HDR in Odyssey was just insane. So that's a game that I'm really looking forward to. And everybody I've heard that like played it has actually said like, yeah, it's kind of surprisingly fun. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's another game I'm looking forward to, and I want to see on Series X. I mean, we keep talking about Valhalla, and Call of Duty's going to be coming out too.
Kid
this
Smooth
week,
says Gods and Monsters is 4K 60 frames.
They're freaking awesome. Open world 60 frame game where you fly around and all this, fight monsters. Like, oh man, there's so many good games coming out these next like 4 or 5 weeks. Like your holiday is going to be packed.
He said the same thing for Phoenix Rising.
Oh, so it's going to be 4K.
Get on your shit. Kid Smooth is schooling you right now.
Kid Smooth, thank you, sir. You're a good guy. Go eat a fucking chip now.
Hey, Kid Smooth, if you want to join, let me know, bro. Get some more talkative fucks in here.
Oh my gosh.
And then you can like thump or something.
Oh yeah, you can thump around. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot to be excited about, man. Like, chat, let us know what you're looking forward to the most, of course. And I mean, seriously, I think a lot of you guys are gonna love what you see, and it's going to be one of those things where you're gonna notice those you're just gonna notice some things. You're gonna notice a lot of things in a lot of these games. Randall, is there anything that you wanted to point out about the Series X right now that people can maybe look forward to from your experience?
Let's see that we haven't really talked about.
Load times.
I mean, the load times are ridiculous.
Thank you, Rand.
You never really have to wait any longer. Like the idea of loading up something like Metro Exodus and waiting 2 minutes to load.
What?
You know, Metro Exodus, you know, a game that you should have played, Zocker.
He's talking about
I did
before.
play it, and it took like 85 years to load into a game.
Right, it took like 2 minutes to load. Now, like on the Series X on an SSD, you don't even need to have it on internal. It's, you know, what, 20 seconds? So you can basically get into all the games that you want to play really fast. And one of the cooler things is, you either mentioned Sekiro, but like a lot of the games, if you are a big fan of like back and patter, if you just haven't played a lot of stuff, especially with EA Play being added today, so you can go and you can play Titanfall 2 and you can play Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is one of my favorite games last year. Well, because of that
So
power,
awesome.
like you put it in performance, you know, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order runs at a pretty solid 60 frames per second, which makes the experience better than it ever was. And I mean, you know, it's a little bit. We've talked about the launch lineup before. Not the greatest, right? But in 2 years, nobody's really going to look back at the launch lineup and be like, "Oh, there was only Gears Tactics."
Hey, Kiss Move, I've guessed you, buddy. He's in. Go ahead, Rand. Rand, go ahead and finish what you're saying, and then we can get Kid in here. And
it's all about quality of life improvements. Like the Series X is just the next generation of Xbox, and it's nice to have every game that you ever, you know, purchased on the system looking and playing better than ever before. And then more than likely, every single game that comes out for next generation is going to look and play the best on the Series X.
And Mortal Jedi just asked me what the exact power cable measurement was.
The exact, I mean, the power cable.
Jedi, you don't actually expect me to fucking measure the damn power cord, do you? Look at your Xbox One S or X power cable.
Same one.
It's the same power cable.
It's the same one.
You can actually unplug your X from that power cable and plug your Series X into that power cable, and it's meant to work.
I think
it
it's
works.
the exact same one on your PS4, your PS4 Slim, your PS4 Pro, your Xbox One S.
They're all the same.
They're all the same.
Yeah.
That's a
I don't
lot.
know. I mean,
I got a lot. How long is each HDMI cable? You know, like.
Hey, Kiss Move.
HDMI
You are getting ready to get your Series X soon, correct? What are you looking forward to? What's got you hyped, brother?
Man, of course. I can't wait to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
You've already been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you bastard.
No. I teased myself because I got the review code. I had to put out at least some content, so I played like the first hour on the Xbox One X, and I was like, all right, I'm shutting it off until the Series X. And so I satisfied that. And then of course I'm gonna, you know, retouch some Watch Dogs. I really want to see Forza. Actually, believe it or not, the first game I might play, because it's probably gonna be the quickest, is Bright Memory.
Really?
I'm curious. I understand it's on PC, but I didn't buy it there or download it there. I'm just really curious. And if it has achievements, it's a dub. So
you've played the hell out of Watch Dogs Legion. I don't know if you checked out my last video or even some of this footage. I mean, even though the fidelity's not as high because it's a stream, but what do you think about some of the ray tracing that you're seeing going on?
It was surprising. I got Watch Dogs pretty early, so I had kind of no choice, but Watch Dogs is full of content, so there's a lot of expansions for the game, and so I'll be able to like really enjoy the ray tracing. But I saw your video, I saw what people were putting on Twitter, and I was just very impressed, with the exception of that one part. I saw a footage where it looked like the whole floor was like kind of like a reflection. But the biggest surprise is to see that the Series S was doing it.
Wasn't that cool to see? Like, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I thought they would skip the Series S, honestly, in terms of like ray tracing, but the fact that they didn't, and it's like real. The thing that was interesting about the ray tracing, and I'm pretty sure you guys are, you know, tech heads, you guys got the eyes and shit, but when you look at the character in the car, right, it's not only that the reflection's there, but the character is like shrunking down like you would normally be.
Yeah.
If you step in front of a car, you know how you make fun of like how you look when you're looking at your reflection in a car, because it's like
you look short and wide.
Yeah. And I'm like, holy crap, that's actually pretty accurate. So
that's because it's actually bouncing millions of light rays and re-rendering the character across the deformed car.
You know
on the
what's
door,
not
like,
bouncing millions of light rays or anything is the medium. Yodani says the medium got delayed. What does that tell? Early January? Shout out to Yodani, by the way.
Yeah, we heard that the other day.
Yeah, that's anyone else that was looking for the medium. Definitely, it was one of the games that needed the SSD for a lot of the things that it was doing. And trust me, it's not like Titanfall 2 or any of these other games that run the worlds and all that crap. It's not the same thing. You guys will have to see more of it to understand, I guess. But yeah, that game got pushed back to January something, and it is in Game Pass day and date, by the way.
What I really wanted to do is show you how Ubisoft was blessing the Xbox Series X with their next 6 games in the next 6 months. So obviously you guys are touching Watch Dogs with the ray tracing. That's pretty much using Watch Dogs to show off ray tracing, and it is awesome, especially in this shot here that I'm watching while it just got finished raining. See, this is a little bit accurate of what I expect to see. I like what I'm seeing there. I can't wait to see it on the CX though.
You got a CX or what?
Yeah, you have a CX.
Woo! Hell yeah! OLED Lord.
Yeah, I started seeing too many of you guys tweet about it.
He's like,
"Fuck this!" Go out and get one because I thought you gamed on a monitor. Or did you change that up
dude?
recently?
Oh yeah. So what happened was I kept trying to. Monitors suck because they're behind. They're really behind. You can't get really a TV equivalent. Like during the Xbox One X and like PS4 Pro, I could get monitors to fully take advantage of those, but you can't get a monitor to fully take advantage of the Xbox Series X.
Yeah, this holiday, I think the first round will hit the support 2.1 HDMI.
So honestly, I'm going back to TV, and honestly, what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to try to find another CX, but smaller. But I think the smallest you can get is like 48 inches, so I can at least keep my desk set up. So right now, it's the Series X is going to be on the CX. And the Series S is going to be on the monitor along with the PS5 since the PS5 can't.
Did you go for 55-inch or 65-inch?
Currently, the CX I have in the bedroom is a 55.
Brandon turned this into the OLED show. You got all excited.
Dude, but I mean, it's like Zalker said. Like, he went to his buddy's house and he was rocking a TCL and it looks like garbage.
TCL does not look like garbage.
I'm just.
It wasn't a TCL. It was a Westinghouse.
It's just
fucking TCL.
That's what my boy had. I was like, "You have a Westinghouse?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, just put it in. It just look great."
You're
fucking trash.
Shout out to Iron Lords and King David. King David always talks about TCL and stuff. That's the only reason I bring it up.
TCL's a quality TV for the money.
Yeah, I mean, like your TV and what you choose to play your Series X on really matters because not every 4K television is created equal. So,
and could we like help people out here because I was watching a couple podcasts, big podcasts, and they kept talking about like the Series X and PlayStation and whatnot and what TV you got to get. Reminder to anyone, like you don't have to rush and get an HDMI 2.1 TV. Xbox Series X supports 2.0, which also does 120 frames. And the 2.0, it just won't do it at 4K. You can get it at 1440p.
I said this in a video. Like, in fact, there will be very, very few games this whole generation that do a native 4K at 120, or even reconstructed at 120 4K, and that's what you need 2.1 for. And on top of that, who gives a shit? Like, the games, you're going to see 60 frames per second on average throughout the length of this generation, I believe, overall. And really, the biggest leap you're getting is not only that, 60 on bigger open world games like Valhalla, but in addition to better settings like the ones we're talking about and all these games that have been added, you're getting a PC experience finally on console. That's what you're paying for. You don't need 2.1. You don't need 120. Even if you're doing 60, you're going to see a difference. And that's, I mean, I'm not even going to play in the 120 mode ever because I know what I'm really paying for. So, in fact, when you do the 120, you're really taking away what Series X can really do, which is that increase in settings. They're going to compromise somewhere, kind of like they did with Dirt 5. They got to do that.
Now, to be fair, it depends, right? Because you've got like Gears multiplayer at 120.
Which they do compromise on the resolution there.
What is the resolution at 120 for Gears?
I think they said that it was, in the
18 or something. I think it's like 1800p or something.
Yeah, but you're not going to notice, and you're going to play that.
I'm just saying, like, if you want the best fidelity at 60 frames, like, you don't need 2.1.
The games that I plan to play like at like 120 frames, like fully through, is the ones that have like the least hit, and that's games like Ori and the Falconeer. Like I feel like those games, like, because they're going all above, like like what they're able to do, and I know they're not like demanding, but it's like, all right, I'm comfortable playing at 120 because I know I'm not losing much of anything at this point.
Yeah.
So
I
hold
can
on.
see Forza hitting 120.
Hold on, guys. 1 second. I just got an email from Amazon.
Same here. Same here.
Telling me that I will get my. We anticipate that you will receive your Xbox Series X by December 31st or before.
Oh,
Or before. Anytime
Or before.
I thought you already got that message.
No,
Or you hadn't gotten that one yet?
No, I haven't gotten that one yet. I read that message from like Windows Central said that. Now Amazon emailed me telling me that.
I'll bet
Amazon
you get
just
it long
informed me too.
before
So
December.
D,
even.
D, they sent you the same thing, and D again.
Yeah,
I
but
think
I don't
everyone's
have- I
talking
don't
over you
have-
because you're low, man. Your mic's kind of.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to boot. I'm gonna have to.
You have to just buy a better fucking mic.
No, you know what? You know what happened? I was disconnected. My mic, my actual Snowball was disconnected, and I think it was the laptop mic that was picking me up. And I plugged it in, and I don't know, it's fucked up. I have to probably reset it. But anyways, I just got an email as well, and they're telling me it's not as bad as you guys though. They're telling me either November 13th to the 17th of November I'll get my Xbox Series X. So it's not as bad, I guess.
Canada coming in clutch.
Coming in clutch. Nano Polymath, by the way, thank you so much, sir. $10 super chat. He says, if you're an Xbox or PlayStation gamer, next generation, he says,
I'll be back
whenever. All right, brother. He says, whenever anyone says that it doesn't matter, ignore them and enjoy. Don't let children attempt to spoil your experience. And that's well said, Nano. There's so much to look forward to, and the chat is proof of that. Shout out to everyone in the chat. A lot of people excited. They're picking up the Series X's tonight, tomorrow, and throughout the week. Thank you guys so much. We do have 2,500 people watching live, guys. If you are, hit the like button. Let's get up past 1,000 likes for the end of the show. And, of course, show a buddy or two. And if you know anybody camping out waiting for their console, send them a link to the show. We do appreciate it. But, again, Kid Smooth, you're right. You don't need 2.1. It's one of the features I will rarely, if ever, use. For one, I don't want to get used to 120 when I'm finally getting a consistent, what I believe to be 60 frames per second, and then bitch about that, right? I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm going to get used to. I'm going to stay at 60, and I'm going to take the better graphics and the higher fidelity as well. And by the way, Dirt 5 did get a patch. Colt, I mean, what did you know? I mean, this thing got a patch the other night, and I could have swore I was like, holy shit! Like on one track, I really noticed a massive difference, but on another one, I was like, wow, there's still like a few little issues here and there. This game has kind of come a lot further since the preview build that they allowed everyone to show so much of.
Yeah, the one that we were playing for like almost 2 weeks, we went through a myriad of patches of that game just wasn't
finally sound.
Yeah, it was really bad, and it did not look good, and I was not impressed, but it's looking a lot better. And I don't know, it seems like they just cleaned up the presentation, and some of the effects look a little better. So yeah, it's one of those things where you just have to wait until everything's done. Games are coming in hot.
Hey,
Dirt looks a lot better.
Tin Man, by the way, Tin Man Technology. Shout out to you, brother. He says he's basically really heavy into Ark, and I actually have played Ark, the patch. And there is basically when you unequip advanced it's another game that's still not like Wildcard Studios. I almost question, like, do you guys know what the fuck you're doing, or did you remember that you can optimize this or no? But basically, if you want 60, you can get 60 frames in that. From my experience, at least with nothing around you much anyway. I'm sure it'll be fine if there is. If you uncheck the advanced graphics checkbox, if you check that, it's like night and day. It's a really big leap with settings, it seems like, but the frame rate is no longer locked, at least with not much going on. So I don't know. I'm sure you'll notice a big difference, and if you want the frame rate, you can do something to actually obtain that. So that's good. Tim Dog, you need to talk more, motherfucker. Where are you at? What are you looking forward to?
I'm just looking forward to experience everything. I'm listening in. I'm very experienced, very excited. Just want to play everything. I got Watch Dogs. I want to buy Valhalla. I want to buy Dirt. I got the NBA patch with the next gen patch. So I'm just really excited. Like I said, it's funny just looking back at how much we, step by step, but every little bit of information each day. I mean, you guys are content creators, so you even know better than me. We talk about this stuff, and it's just crazy that we're here, and next generation is now upon us. And I think Xbox has a lot of things going for it. It doesn't feel like 2013. obviously 2013 when it launched, it was, you knew that they were going in the wrong direction. And I think now
they were headed to the women's bathroom with the blindfold on.
I think now, right, but I think now that you could definitely see that this is going somewhere, and I think everyone knows Xbox is gonna make a splash, and there's even talks of Japanese studios, which I believe is true. So there's more to come. So it's just never gonna end. And they're in so much better position than they were now than they were in 2013.
Dealer, that super chat is something we can answer, right?
Which one?
Oh, yeah.
TK Chillin. Hey guys, do any of you know how Astray 50s will connect with the Series X because they removed the optical port?
I have done that, sir. I've for one, Rand uses it the opposite of me. He uses optical on the back of the OLED.
So I can get audio and anything essentially on my PS5 and any device I plug into the TV.
But basically, I'm using that for something else, so that's not possible. And there's a lot of people that do that as well. And for you, you're fucked. No, I'm just kidding. You got to update your base station, and instead of going through optical audio, you plug your docking station into the PC. You use the Command Center app on Windows Store, update it, and it will work on your Series X or Series S. Plug that USB into the console. Then you will have a hard time getting that thing to actually kick on. Turn your headset on with that docking station plugged in after you update it. Make sure it's on the Xbox mode, not PC, when you have to, because you got to have a PC to update it. Then hold the Atmos button and the game volume button, is it, Rand, to reboot the headset? You got to hard reset the headset. If you don't know how, Google that. And then that's when I got sound back into my headset. Now, the drawback is because you're not in optical audio anymore, you do lose some of that fidelity in audio. You don't have Atmos anymore. You don't have any of that stuff. But it will work. And they did hold true. Astro and Microsoft did find a way to make that work, which is awesome.
Why do you lose Atmos? Because I have the rigs that is a USB dock wireless headset.
I don't know if that's simulated Atmos. I don't know enough about that headset.
What about the way Grant has it? Grant, did you have to do anything?
No, I didn't. I just have the optical.
That's the way I have it
plugged into the back of my TV.
Same way I have it, so I should be fine.
Yeah, if I wanted to do something and change something up, I could just plug the optical in the back of the TV and do like RAM, which I might do at a later date. I don't know. I'd also like to see some headsets, because as you guys know, at the beginning of every generation, they do have headsets that come out for everything to take the best advantage with the scenarios that they're given. So I just got the SteelSeries X9 as well.
I got that too. This SteelSeries.
Yeah, it's comfortable except for the headband that comes with headlights on it. And then, the audio is fine, but the mic isn't nearly as good as the A50, which is what I'm told. I used that with Miles on Windows Central Gaming, and everyone was complaining about that damn mic. So,
good.
Again, I mean, Tim, there was also an announcement today with Game Pass and Disney Plus, right?
Yeah, you're going to get basically 30 days. It's called the perk, and I think that this is going to be something that you see more times, during the year.
Somebody said, when do pre-orders start? You're fucked on that one.
Yeah. So basically, you're gonna get Disney Plus, and you can redeem as late as March. So what I would suggest, especially if you're getting this for Mandalorian, I would wait a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And that way, you'll probably get the full season and then redeem the code. If you redeem it now, you'll be able to see most of Mandalorian's episodes, but you might miss a couple towards the end. Remember, you're getting 30 days for free. I recommend you watch the show. It's awesome. I've been following it every time it comes out. But like I said, if you're gonna get it for that specifically, wait about a month and then redeem it, and then you should be fine. You'll get full season 1 and 2.
Well, I mean, I don't know, Fonz, I don't know if you've seen the Series X reviews and the S reviews. Have you been keeping up with all that?
Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen some.
I mean, what's the consensus that people are kind of saying in these reviews?
There's a lot of people. Honestly, they've been positive. And then there's been a couple of a few YouTubers that have come back and said, oh, they changed their mind about like the Series S, and said basically that, you know, for most people, they would just recommend the X. And I don't know how I feel about that, because I see a big market for the S myself. There's so many people out there who do not have 4K TVs and will not utilize half the features of the Series X. And it's really pointless at the end of the day for a lot of those folks.
Most of those people don't care. Yeah.
Yeah. And like my son, he really doesn't care about 4K and all that. And man, I just see, honestly, for all these consoles coming out, I've seen nothing but positivity. And that's a great thing going into a new generation. It's a far cry from where we were at in 2013, just like, you know, Tim was saying here. Man, I remember it just being chaos back then. And just going into this generation, it's a completely different feel. Sure, you got the, you know, the annoying little fanboys nipping at your heels about certain things, but it's nothing like it was in 2013. It's truly a new generation, and these consoles, in my opinion, from what I've seen so far, this is honestly a big leap. One of the biggest leaps ever between generations.
The biggest
I've
leap
seen.
ever. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I've been around since Atari 2600. All right. That's when I started. So to see what we're going to today, it's freaking mind blowing.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing.
And again, it's up to the developers how they're going to leverage this. This is all day one. I expect all of it to get better, and I think we all do. TK, by the way, TK Chilling, he says, okay, thanks, dealer. Alexa, find me a new headset. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, man. That's what I was talking about. You know, we gotta wait for those new headsets to kind of come out. I don't even know if are there any battery docking stations or anything out or confirmed or.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we don't know if there's any way to upgrade your charging.
I went with the batteries, the rechargeable batteries. That's what I'm going with.
Dealer got me on this controller charging cradle, so you can just hang up your controller. So then they're setting somewhere nice where you can set them, and then they charge. Then you grab them, like, and because I've done the batteries popped into the 4 charging ports on a wall charger, but it's just so nice to hang them up, and then your controller has a place where they're displayed. So right now there isn't anything for that. And for those of you that don't know, dealer covered it really well in his review for the console. They changed the battery door. There's 2 prongs on the top and 1 on the bottom, and the 2 on the top, they brought them in slightly so you can't interchange them with the Xbox controller. And as far as I've looked, the battery well and the door are nearly identical. But something changed in the mechanics of the new controller to where those tabs had to be placed in a slightly different spot. And it's something that Xbox wouldn't have done just to mess with you or just to make you buy something else. They're all about letting you bring your stuff forward. So as dealer explained to me, there was something in the new controller that that battery well couldn't be exactly identical. My charging pack works. It just can't, the new door doesn't fit on. So, actually, still sits on the cradle without the door.
I just got another email from PR, by the way. You might want to check
I did too. Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you another question here in a minute, Colt. After I ask,
wait, before you ask me that, let me finish this off real quick. There are reports that when you run Astro's Playroom using all of the features in the PS5 controller, they're seeing 2 to 4 hour battery life. Luke Riley from IGN, who I respect a ton, said that he can get about a day's worth of play out of the controller, and it has to be charged. This is one of those things why Xbox guys say they're okay with having battery options or having rechargeable pack options in the controller. It's just one of those things that there's just going to be this divide for a little while. Xbox is still adamant that their regular consumer controllers take a battery pack or batteries if you want to use them, but their premium controller has an internal battery, but it has like a 20 to 40 hour battery life. So it's just, 5 times more than the PlayStation. So that's kind of where the controller charging situation is when you get your consoles tomorrow. So
question for one of you guys.
Can just get a long cable and just be, wired in.
Let me get a few of these real quick and then we'll come back. Rubber Knob, he says, just picked up my S and X. He says, gotta love Tomorrowland. Do appreciate it, brother. He's already getting into it. Labrilis, I'm going to try to pronounce that right. a little off topic, but is direct machine learning a Series XS only thing, or is AMD going to have it something similar in the future? I mean, they work together to make all that stuff happen in RDNA 3, 4, 12. All right, yeah. I mean, we don't definitely machine learning is gonna be a big part of the gaming in general going forward, and throughout the next 5 years, you'll see a lot of examples of that. How they're going to use that to not only reduce game sizes, but up-res and upscale lower resolution textures. So you can basically have a game with 20 or 30 gigs less texture weight on the download size, but give you that actual high-res image in real time. That's how fast the I/O is in the box and stuff. Kid, go ahead and ask, and then I'm going to ask Rand more about the controller, and then we'll come to PS5 reviews.
Have any of you guys used a disc into your Series X yet? Like whether it be a game or anything where it has to spin it and whatnot?
I don't have any discs, man. I'm all digital. So, Colt, do you have any discs?
Yeah, and I haven't tried them. I have Mass Effect 3, Red Dead Redemption 1, and then I could try putting Horizon Zero Dawn in there. I'm not sure what it would do.
only reason why I asked because they put a disc in the PS5 and it turned into a jet engine 2.0.
Like when it was installing or when it was playing?
I don't know. I believe it was playing or whatever they do it when they put the disc in, but they put the mic to it and it sounded so familiar.
Yeah, games don't.
It's on Twitter right now, kind of trending.
A lot of
Are you
people.
talking about the PS5 one?
The PS5, yeah.
Yeah, that girl that puts it in and you just hear it like go.
Games don't spin off the disc, but they spin while they install, and then they just stay there for certification. But it was the PS5 that got loud with the disc, or the Xbox Series X?
The PS5. That's why I was asking
PS5.
about the Series X to see for comparisons. Like if you guys, I don't know.
I could try it right now while you guys are talking. For the people.
Let me. By the way, people are talking about the load times on the back compat PS5 versus the Xbox, right? And you got to keep in mind that PS5 uses the hardware back compat and the Xbox uses software. So you are not getting really the full throughput on that SSD anyway, because there's some part of that system that's replicating older hardware. It's being bottlenecked. So back compat titles are not necessarily the indicative of PS5's full SSD, and I expect Microsoft software emulation to get better as well. So I think there's something worth throwing out there for some people that think that that's proof that the SSD thing is not going to load faster. Yeah. I expect it to load faster, but at the end of the day, I'm only waiting 4 to 8 seconds on average to load a game on my Series X, and I'm not really worried about going down to 2 seconds or 4 or 7 seconds. Rand, the controller, even though I covered this in my review, I loved it because I got a message that day. You haven't really talked about the controller. I was like, well, I spent 11 hours on this review if you want to watch that, I guess. Yeah, that controller is noticeably less laggy, like in terms of like, you don't even notice the latency that's in the one you have today because it's already really good. But when you pick up the new one and you update it, which it will make you do, yeah, that thing is a lot less latency in it, and so much so that you don't even think that it's possible to notice it. You do.
I mean, Jason Ronald talked about the dynamic latency input, and it's just one of those terms that you think, that doesn't really mean much. It's just whatever. But when I first started gaming on the Series X, I noticed that like my movements were more responsive, especially in like Gears or Forza Horizon 4, even Dirt 5. I felt like the cars turned quicker. And then especially when you play a game like that requires pinpoint timing, like Sekiro or Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order to parry, where you only have a few frames to hit that left bumper, it really shows just how much reduced the latency is. Because on the Xbox One, I don't know about you guys, but I found the pairing in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order to be incredibly inconsistent. Like I would hit it and it wouldn't register. But like I recorded some videos and I put it in my review. Like I was pairing everything in Star Wars. Now I guess you can make a case that's because it runs at a locked 60, which does help. But I also feel that because of the reduced latency, that it's just the game's more responsive, and because of that, I'm able to do what the game wants me to do way better and faster than previously. And the share button works pretty good too. I don't know how many of you guys are actually going to use the share button. I know Dealer and Colt,
I'm going to use it.
You will, but they didn't improve the game DVR whatsoever.
Nope.
It has still all the same problems.
They didn't improve it and they didn't fix it.
Yeah, it has
Oh,
all the same
boy.
problems that the Xbox One X game DVR had. So you can record at
Oh,
4K HDR or 4K SDR up to 30 seconds. You can record in 1080p up to a minute. You can record 720p up to 3 minutes, and that's on the internal. But if you plug in a USB drive or thumbstick, you can record up to an hour at any of those resolutions. And
Yeah, I wish they would up the bit rate, and that's what I would ask Xbox to do,
yeah, the bit rate's the exact same. But I will make mention,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are going to be really excited to get their system, whether tonight or tomorrow, and they're going to be wanting to share, like Kit Smooth's going to bombard everybody on Twitter with pictures, right? Of, him playing Valhalla. But 4K captures, when you try to share them on the console, when you try to upload them Xbox Live to share them, or you share them directly to Twitter or edit them, 4K clips don't work. So I tested that out. I think Colt, you also tested it out too, and Dealer did as well.
Yeah, it crashes. It crashes the game capture. Essentially, the game capture program where you can look at your game captures or share them to OneDrive or Twitter or to your Xbox activity. Yeah, once you start to send the tweet, it just crashes and then takes you back to the game or back to the dashboard.
Yeah.
Or
And there is a patch coming for that. Maybe in like a week or two. But so if you get the system and you want to share things, I'd recommend bumping it down to 1080p because Twitter is going to compress it anyways.
That's super important when the console comes out for everyone to be excited and share. And that's like a little internal marketing feature to share screenshots and full quality clips with people. And wow, that's what that does. I should get that game, or I should get that system. As far as the bit rate, which is the quality while you're watching the footage, Fawn says they should go up, and they did the same thing, but it's around 23, which is just above what YouTube does anyway. So that's pretty cool, but they just didn't improve the game DVR at all. They didn't.
You can say it's just above YouTube, but if you basically have higher bit rate video, and you upload it to YouTube, even if it down compresses, it still looks a lot better than that 23 that the Xbox is putting out.
Yeah,
as a content creator that relies on like these DVRs on these consoles, I just want to see them, get better.
Yeah.
Well, that's for good reason, Fonz.
So before you move on, I put Mass Effect 3 into my Xbox Series X while you guys were talking about this subject, and it started to install the game disc, and I put my head down there and couldn't hear a single noise coming out of it.
So Dealer, what do you think, and Colt, what do you think about the dynamic latency input? Have you noticed it on the controller, or am I just crazy?
Oh yeah, it's definitely noticeable. I noticed it the second I started moving around. And I shooting people in Battlefield 4. I noticed it instantly, and I forgot that it was even a thing. Like, it's not like I went in expecting to notice it or looking for it. I just started playing, and I was like, holy crap, I forgot about that, and they were not kidding. Yeah, it's noticeable. And two, auto HDR, like on old games, it changes the game.
Batman Arkham City.
Whew.
Holy smokes.
Rand's a casual, so he doesn't play games twice, but I think that, Kid Smooth, when you see older games that didn't have HDR, right, and you jump into those for the first time, by the way, everybody, if you haven't seen my review, I show you how to do it at the end, but you need to go to settings on your Series X, and you need to calibrate the HDR for the system. Fonzo's not fucking around. He said, this makes a big difference. I don't know. Every game on the Xbox Series X, either that is because I calibrated, most likely, but every single game on Series X seems to have better HDR, and I'm sure it's because I use that calibrator, but it is noticeably better. It is noticeably better when you go into that calibrator in the settings and do the system-wide calibration for HDR. It's definitely noticeably better, but the auto HDR, I think you'll enjoy it, and when it comes to controller, like Colt, I don't know how much. Colt didn't even really cover it in his review, did he?
And I did shortly. I actually recorded myself. I had my kid record me playing Forza Horizon 4 with my controller across the TV, like actual physically recording that. So yeah, it's great. Everything's better. It's like I am bugged that the controller isn't improved and evolved. The rumble triggers are still there, and now haptic triggers of the PS5 are taking it even a step further, or quite a bit further. The controller is nearly perfect already, but I hope that with the haptic triggers that developers do something more with the triggers now that they have something they can implement that more in games since they'll do something. I don't think you'll see a lot of multi-plat developers do the resistance triggers as much on the PS5 unless they're doing it for both Xbox and PS5. Have you guys thought about how that'll work out? Because the rumble triggers can do resistance, but not like the tension the way that the PS5 controller does. So I wonder if that will push developers to use the triggers more in their game design.
I don't think that it's a big enough difference or a big enough deal for them to want to do that. I mean, because remember, rumble triggers in general compared to no rumble triggers at all, like we had for this whole time, is a much bigger deal and difference than what PS5 is doing and Xbox is doing.
I mean, yeah, for 6 or 7 years, whatever it's been, when you brake and your tires are skidding and slipping and bumping on the pavement, like you feel it. It's real. And that's never happened on a PlayStation until now. So
I'm hearing though that the PlayStation version is a step above though.
But I'm just saying between none and what rumble triggers can offer, like it's not that big. It's not that big.
But you're seeing what I'm saying now that both have active dynamic triggers. Maybe, like a Far Cry 6 will decide to do something with the triggers since it's going to run across both big consoles.
But do they?
I'm hoping that's what pushes the industry forward. So,
but do they run the same though? Because everything that I have to get it in my hands and try it for myself. But everything that I've been hearing descriptive wise, it's like in another league. So I don't know how it's.
What's another league though is the difference between none and rumble triggers.
True.
And nobody gave a fuck then, did they? So.
Do you remember playing Titanfall on the Xbox One when it first came out? And when you reloaded your gun and dropped your magazine and reloaded it, there was a rumble throughout the controller within the triggers and the regular rumble in the horns, or whatever you call it. Like there was this alive feeling that developers took advantage of early on, and I just hope it's one of those things that they don't just kind of fade off. Say, we're not going to worry about it anymore.
I agree.
Well, look, I am ready to play some damn games. They are beginning to unlock. They're getting close to unlocking.
When does Valhalla unlock from now?
Midnight.
It unlocks at 11 p.m. Central, and from there, Eastern is midnight. So that'd be 9 p.m. on the California time. And everybody watching, thank you so much. Hit the like button before we head out of here. We're going to talk lastly about the PS5 reviews and kind of talk about the consensus there. And then just be excited. It's the biggest leap overall, and I think day one doesn't even come close to showing the true capability of any of these consoles. You can all imagine a world where Red Dead 2 came out in 2013. No way. So it's just one of those things where over time, there's so much capability and balance here. It's insane. But thank you guys so much for joining us for the pre-launch kind of hype stream. We did it today instead of tomorrow. We'll be playing games tomorrow, and we'll see you guys back on the podcast next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I guess, Colt, go ahead and wrap it up with the PS5 reviews that you've seen, and then we will head out of here and say our byes.
The only one I watched, like I said, is Luke Riley. He's the Australian reviewer for IGN. He's like their racing game expert. He's just a phenomenal... The guy's amazing. I know Dealer's a fan of his work, too. He's just really great, and he did that review of the PS5, and he did some of the best physical shots of the console.
Which is not easy, by the way.
No, it's not. I thought, trash. I'll set this thing up. I'll make sure it's clean, and everything within Lynn's shot was looked awful. So go check out Luke Riley's review. He's just such a great gaming fan, and he did a great job on that. So I'm looking forward to the PS5. Best Buy actually called me before the podcast for my pickup schedule to pick up my Series S tomorrow morning at 7, and then my PS5 Thursday morning at 7 a.m. So it's really happening. So it's awesome.
How'd that PS5 review come along then?
Great. I mean, I think they're giving it 8.
He said great.
I mean, what do you want me to say? They're impressed with it. It's got.
He said that they need to up their DVR game big time. Hopefully,
I haven't heard what their DVR is doing yet.
Hopefully, it's better.
Because I don't want to unplug and reroute to a capture card, but
so they're giving it 8s and I'm sure and some 9s. And...
So the overall thing is, there's really nothing here, not much here that you can't play on the PS4, but the games look great. and everything works as advertised. Back and pats there on PS4. The controller is above, like I agree with D-Batch, and I agree with Luke O'Reilly. The controller is the winning thing for the PS5. It's the true next gen feature because the power is a bit behind the Xbox. So
it's the true next gen feature. Is that what you just said?
That's what he said. He said that the DualSense 5 was the true showcase of next generation.
The main difference, basically, that's what he's saying.
The controller.
That's kind of a reoccurring theme amongst all of the reviews.
Well, that's because they don't understand what this hardware is capable of. That's all.
Yeah, but we already know that the Xbox Series X is going to be powerful.
They're both going to fucking look amazing. Like
we see games
on Spider-Man Miles Morales, with the ray tracing. It's awesome. It looks crazy good.
And then the 60 frames, 60 frames of games that were usually open world 30, like you're going to play Miles Morales at 60 and you're going to play some of these other games at 60. Then the controller itself is more alive than most any controller we've ever played on. Like that's a great experience. He makes fun of the PS5 looks like he says it looks like something that in 2006 you would think comes out in 2046. I thought that was pretty funny.
I saw that. Yeah,
and in 5 years will look like something from 2006.
Yeah, the console's ugly. That's
I would say the one thing that I saw people talking about was that a lot of people really enjoyed Miles Morales, and then I also saw Insomniac Games saying we heard your feedback, and the saves from the PS4 will transfer to the PS5, which should have been there from the beginning. But I'm glad that they're actually listening. I'm glad Insomniac's listening. They're an awesome developer. I can't wait to get the PS5. I can't wait to get one on Thursday if I do, because I do truly want to play like Miles Morales. Like,
Zach, you know what else they're saying, Zucker?
Yes, sir.
The majority of the reviewers are saying that it's not a sequel and it's not that long and it feels more like a DLC. And basically everybody was saying that wasn't the case as a problem.
They said 7 to 8 hours for the story, and then they said 10 to 10 plus hours for like doing the open world stuff, which is mostly like pigeon collecting,
which is fine. It comes in at a reduced price. Like
it's a reduced game, and it's a launch title. It's cool, but
it's $50, isn't it?
It's $50.
But every PS5 game went up $10, so it should be $40.
I want thousands of apologies for my band.
No, it's $50 because like Uncharted Lost Legacy was a game like that. It was $40, but all Sony games are $10 price hike, so it's $50.
Did you guys hear? Speaking of price hikes, did you hear this? This alleged rumor that Sony was pushing for over 70.
Yeah.
Third-party developers.
Where'd that come from?
Bloomberg report.
Damn you, Bloomberg! Stop it.
That the PlayStation Sony developers were meeting with the other multi-plat developers and were pushing for beyond. They didn't say a price, but they're pushing for a base price beyond $70, and a bunch of third-party publishers were like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. And they were remaining anonymous because they were in these talks with Sony.
What's the damage control on Twitter? Well, I'm sure it was only $72.
Imagine if it was fucking $80.
It's okay to pay $80 for greatness.
Yeah. Cue the whiners now that talk about how it's just so expensive to make these games nowadays.
Even though I'm not looking at their bottom line and the fact they made $3 billion on microtransactions alone. Hey, by the way, if you're still watching, hit the like button, guys. I do appreciate it. Share it out. Tell a friend. Tell a family. Not even yours. And of course, let us know your thoughts. We're getting the fuck out of here. I'm done with this shit. I gotta go play some games, guys. I'm just like you, except for I already got the shit and I'm ready.
That's the problem with this episode. The fact that, we can't sit here. Some of us can't talk about these games and stuff on the Series X.
Well, I mean,
we haven't played them
yet.
But
some of us remember the Xbox One X launch episode and everyone was hyped as fuck. I don't know. Seems a little different.
I'm hyped as hell.
I wasn't here.
Series X,
wasn't even born.
Come on.
I wasn't.
Hey, everyone tell Fonz he's an old man. And, of course, thank him for being here. Thank the rest of the panel member for being here. Follow all these guys. Kid Smooth, thanks for jumping in, brother. We're going to get your outro as well. And chat, thank you most of all for rocking out with us. And just like, holy shit, someone just fell down the stairs. Thanks for rocking out with us. Just like with the 1X launch, we talked about the 1X at the launch. And that came out. And again, it was a blast. Thank you so much. We'll be back next Tuesday with everything that's happened since this moment. And no matter what I cover in the next week, I'll cover some things, I'm sure. We will definitely see you back next Tuesday. Thank you so much again. Hit the like button, show a friend, and of course, subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to the channel members, the patrons, and stuff too. Colt Eastwood, outro time. We got Series X's. What are we playing tonight?
We're playing Valhalla in about 2 hours. I'm going to eat some tacos or enchiladas, I think.
All right.
And then I'm going to play Valhalla. I'm really super excited. Thanks to everybody for their support. I interviewed Jason Ronald on Friday and logged off and realized I didn't record my own audio, but thankfully I had his audio recorded. So I spent most of the day on Sunday creating a video out of that, and I was happy with it. And thanks to Jeff Rubenstein, who's the communications manager, a really cool guy, for talking to Dealer and I about this whole thing and walking us through a review process, which has been pretty crazy. But thanks to everybody. It's been absolutely incredible. And when you get this little teeny tiny box, and like, you'll be surprised, the Series X isn't very big, and it's pretty awesome.
It is. Find him at Colt Eastwood. D-Batch, brother, where can people find you, and what have you been playing?
You can find me at D_Batch on Twitter, D-Batch on YouTube. I didn't really play anything today. I'm probably queuing up to play Assassin's Creed at midnight, and I can't wait to play the new Call of Duty. Check out my video today. I dropped some information on how you guys can secure an Xbox Series X on launch day. I compiled the information on what retailers will have availability tomorrow, and it's a pretty good video. It covers pretty much the whole world.
It's just a video of D-Batch pre-ordering all of them so you couldn't have any.
There you go. But yeah, watch it if you want to get a Series X tomorrow. I think it's going to be helpful. It's a great show. Thanks for coming on, Rand. And yeah, Series X tomorrow. Let's do it.
Of course. Kid Smooth.
Yeah, at least Dealer, thank you for coming on.
I know. I heard Rand. Where's my thank you?
Hey, I mean, we're not through the outros yet. Jesus, Randall. Don't be so insecure.
Randall, you're not a guest.
Hey, Kid Smooth, let's do your outro, because shit's going down over there. We can kind of get you taken care of here, buddy. Thanks for jumping in, man. Where can people find you? What are you playing when you get your Series X? When are you getting it?
Oh, yeah. Series X is expected to come tomorrow at 4:30 p.m., even though I called FedEx to see if they can expedite that, but no luck. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Kid Smooth and YouTube at Kid Smooth. Shout out to Colt for the interview with Jason Reynolds. I got to listen to that at work. Shout out to Diller, Rand, the Dynasty team. You guys for bringing in the Xbox, next generation Xbox over the past couple weeks. So it's been good to watch.
You know, the Dynasty team. I don't know what that means, kid, but thank you. You know, to some people, I had a crackhead in a dumpster call us the Inner Circle. And apparently we don't play nothing but Halo, Gears, and Forza, even though we got 3, 4. Brand's got a million fucking gamer score. The rest of us got multiple times more gamer score than this crackhead. And he's still saying we don't play no fucking game. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy how people can't even count numbers anymore, look at someone's gamer tag profile. But thank you so much, kid. We do appreciate it, man. Yeah, you're going to have a blast with this thing. Randall, tell us what you've been playing on Series X and where can people find you?
Oh, man, I've been playing like everything on the Series X. Dirt 5, Gears 5, Quantum Break, Star Wars, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, Forza Horizon 4. I'm really excited to like kind of dig in and start playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Bright Memory and Tetris Effect. And, this Friday, I'm really looking forward to playing through the campaign of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. So I'm truly really excited. This is what gaming's all about. New hardware, new games, AAA indie titles. Like, I'm super excited. Hopefully, I get my PS5 on Thursday so I can play Miles Morales and stuff. Someone had sent me a picture of the drone show that Xbox was putting on like right now or earlier, and they showed the Initiatives logo, kind of like an outline of the Initiatives logo. I don't know if that means anything. I don't know. There is a live stream happening tomorrow, but they did say it would be nothing but games, so I'm not expecting anything to be announced there. But I do think the Initiatives game will be revealed at the VGAs, so that's something to look forward to. But I hope everybody really enjoys the Series X. If you're getting it tomorrow or next week, it's the best gaming hardware Microsoft has ever made. It's not even close, man. Like, blows away the Xbox One X, and it's leaps and bounds beyond like the Xbox One. The controller's great. The games are all going to be there. And Microsoft's got 23 new studios plus Bethesda, so like, we're gonna have tons of games. And I truly do think this will be the best generation that Xbox has ever had. So yeah, thanks for having me on, Dealer.
Of course. And the hardware in general, like, again, total performance here, total package, load times. There's so many things we're not really talking about all at once at the same time, because there's every single thing is better. And that does include the controller over the controller wired today. Like somebody asked that in the super chat. Like, if you, it's the way the shit works that has changed. That even a wired controller doesn't stand a chance now. So it's definitely a much bigger leap between that and plugging a wire in. It's just the way the controller communicates with the box. The box also cuts down on latency, right? So it's just a total thing there that you guys are gonna love it. And I just want to get that one. Fonzarelli, what are you looking forward to, and where can people find you?
Oh, I'm just looking forward to getting that console tomorrow and doing a lot of downloading, apparently. Got to download those games. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that Series X. I will definitely have some sort of impressions out for myself next week when we talk again here on RDX. But yeah, man, it's so exciting, and I hope everybody out there has fun with their Series X or PlayStation 5, whichever one you get, or if you're getting both, that's awesome. I will be getting a PS5 ASAP, and I can't wait for that as well. New console generation, it's going to be a great time, folks. Let's all just celebrate that. And for some of you in the chat that were just numbnuts, you're gone. I had to get rid of a couple of you. But yeah, so anyway, until next Tuesday, you can find me at The Grounded Gamer here on YouTube making videos. I should be making a video this week anyway. I'm trying to get that in order. Yeah, until the next RDX, guys. Just, have fun with that console tomorrow. It's going to be awesome.
That's what it's about. You should have heard Fonz last week, by the way. He broke up with a motherfucker live on air. He said, I never want to hear from you again. And then banned him from the channel. It was great. Thanks, Fonz. You did great. We got to do that more often.
Yeah.
Tim Dog, man. Hopefully you're still alive over there. Tell people what you're excited for and what have you been playing, man.
Man, I'm just excited to just get into this new generation. The last generation was pretty cool. There was some stuff that they could have done better, but I think this is the accumulation of all Xbox fans and people pushing Xbox to be better and to do better. This is an accumulation of that, and I think we're really going to start to see what Xbox is about this generation. I think this is going to be a more defined generation. You're going to get a ton more games this generation. You're not going to have the things that you were dealing with last generation, lack of games. You might have new problems like too many games. Who knows? But Xbox storage. Yeah, exactly. But they're going in a real strong direction, and from what I'm hearing, they're not stopping. So this is just like pretty crazy, and I'm just really excited that I can finally see on my C9. I could see 4K, 60 on Horizon. Even though I did play it on PC, I'm just excited to see.
That game looks amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited to see a bunch of games. And I'm excited to play Halo when it comes out, or when that is. But just overall, I'm happy we're here, and great panel. It was really insightful, the stuff that you guys talked about, informative. I think we've given the people listening a lot of pointers and stuff that is coming out and things to try. As far as what I've been playing, I kind of stopped playing. I'm almost I'm in the middle of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Jedi. I always forget it.
I just ran over myself with a damn truck.
But
yeah, Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah,
hey, put that in performance mode, Tim.
That's why everyone's like, just play it on the X, the Series X. They're saying it's amazing.
So you got a lot of things you want to jump into, man. I mean, it's going to be a blast. And by the way, I must stress this before you play anything. Everybody, go to your settings, calibrate HDR. If you got a kind of like a 6 Series Samsung or something like that in the mid range, TCL is the only TV in that class, that price range that actually has real HDR. Turn the HDR off in your settings of your Xbox. Your games will look better. Otherwise, if you got real HDR, Go calibrate that shit in the settings. First thing you would do, the settings of the Xbox before you play anything, because then if you set all your games up without that calibrated,
it made a huge difference, man. I was playing Doom Eternal last week, and I said, you know what? Something looks off here, and I went into the settings and I saw there was a calibrator there, and I was like, what is this? I never did this before, and I did it, and I went back to Doom Eternal, and it blew me away.
Yeah, it is.
Like, wow.
It is. And when I tried it, man, I was like, holy fuck, Fonzo's not kidding. Like every game, including Borderlands 3, I was like, holy shit, like every game, it fixes the games with bad HDR. You can make others look amazing before. So, yeah, I mean, seriously do that. And by the way, Trey B, not sure on the specifics that you're asking for in your super chat, but I do know that, and I covered this in my review, that the download speeds are definitely much better on Series X. And they will throttle if you're playing a game. I explained that in the review. Check it out if you want more information, brother. Do appreciate it. Zauker, what have you been playing, or what are you excited for? And it really sucks that you're not going to have one for a minute, but what are you kind of excited for? And where can people find you, man?
Just Twitter's Zachr87, YouTube's Zachr87. I'm excited for Valhalla, every game, Phoenix Wright, all those games, man. I just want to play them on the new Xbox. I've been playing a lot of Watch Dogs Legion. I'm actually really fucking enjoying that game. Having a lot of fun with it. Playing with I feel like I'm playing with different classes every time I switch a character from my team, and I just have a lot of fun with that game. So I really recommend it with everybody that enjoys Ubisoft type games, and I'm glad I bought it. I'm glad I've been playing it because there hasn't been much else to play. So
you can run over yourself with the truck.
You can do a lot of shit, man. Like I've done so much crazy crap in that game, and flying up in drones all the way up to see the city, like has pretty good draw distance. Everything. That game's good, man. I want to play.
I heard you can do a burnout on a body,
on a corpse, yeah, and then fly into a river. But I just that's what I've been playing. I want to get the Series X. I want to get the PS5 to play Miles Morales, and hopefully I get one of those. If not, then that'll suck ass. But we'll see what happens. It's all good.
David messaged me 8:32 a while ago. He says you guys still on podcast. So that's David Preen, the hardware guy, designer of the Series X. Nice. Hang on one sec. Yes, sir. I said, yes, sir, we are on the podcast. But this is 30 minutes ago, so I didn't see that. We'll see what David says. If he replies in the next few minutes, maybe, who knows?
I thought I saw him in the chat briefly, like earlier.
Maybe. I
might have
been like a year since we had him on, or several months.
It's been a couple of months.
It was the night that
it was the night that the Series X got shown on Rand's carpet.
That was Tim. Everyone knows that was Tim Dogs.
David Preen, yeah. Oh yeah, remember that? That was like awkward.
David 8K Preen, yeah.
Yeah, his official title.
Awkward.
His official title on Twitter, I wish I would have saw this earlier, is Director of Hardware at Xbox, developer of Elite controllers, and about to launch a new project, Scarlett, Xbox Series XS, yeah. But if I don't get something in the next minute, we're going to bail. But shout out to David. I don't know if he wanted to jump on for a few or not. Either way, it's cool.
He's been waiting to talk, and they've told Dealer that they want to get on the podcast once all this hardware information was out, and they didn't have to zip their lips, because they've been excited to talk about it. So Dealer's talked to quite a few hardware leads that said they want to get on, but they have to.
We can get somebody next week or something. I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe we'll look into that. But again, follow Zauker, and of course, guys, let us know your thoughts. Hit the like button if you haven't. Share it out. We do appreciate it. Subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to the patrons, the channel members with all the cool names and badges. Nano Polymath, all the super chats. Couldn't get to them all. You guys know why. I've explained that a million times. And of course, thanks for your support. Do appreciate it. I'll check one last time for this message. All right, nothing. All right, we're getting off here, and we're gonna go eat, play some games.
Right, everybody.
And we really hope the best for you guys. Be safe out there. All those guys out in the lines right now. I know there are a lot of you. Be safe and enjoy your system. That's what matters.
Be safe.
We will. We will see you guys. Hang on. I just heard a Discord noise. I have to double check here. Make sure.
Yeah, I already checked.
Okay. Just make sure.
You never know.
David has the ability to jump in without an invite, so maybe he doesn't know that.
Still has that link,
but no, he's in our Discord. So
okay,
we got Aaron, everyone in our Discord. So again, guys, we will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. Next Tuesday, we're out.
Later.
Thanks.
Later.
D-Batch is a fraud.